like a...
Okay, someone say a slur, quick. Slur it up. Get it. Say something real messed up.
Backface, you can get away with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Please
You check all of our boxes.
I put 1 or 2 slurs in the new Cynic video, but they're very hidden. Just
God, the Easter eggs. Thanks, man. I can't wait to find those.
Those are the best jokes. I have a Vosh horse porn joke in mind today. That's great.
Oh
God, we are live. God.
We are now, yeah.
Oh, don't worry. We were.
It's fine.
We were almost 30 seconds in, so don't worry.
Walsh's horse fetish is not a slur; it's just reality, which is actually worse if you think about it.
I forgot about that. Thanks for the reminder.
I didn't know we were live.
And you had to tell the world. Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome back to BSUP, our big number 40 episode. I know you don't see me, and though you usually do, so I'm away from my camera, and it's so crappy. I don't want to be on camera. I have standards.
Can confirm. Saw earlier. Horrible shit camera.
Yeah, it just looks. Well,
now I'm
shit.
interested. I want to see it. How shit?
Oh, you want to see what I look like when I don't have a professional camera?
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. That's most people on YouTube look like that.
Yeah. Well,
somehow he still looks better than me, though.
Yeah, I just want to welcome our guests. We do certainly have some topics today, including a video Bagface just sent me concerning Rings of Power. But let me first introduce Reaper, who is this is his first adventure onto BSUP. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Howdy.
Man of many words.
Man of many words. No, I've been a huge fan of Reapers for a while. I actually just showed I'm up here in Maine, which is why I'm not on camera. I showed my girlfriend one of your videos, and it's just the crow one. I just love how you start that one off. It's shit. It's absolute shit.
Well, there's no point mincing words, is there?
It's hilarious. But thanks for coming on, man. And back again is FCE, Film Comics Explained. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man, it's always good to chat with you. We were kind of going back and forth too. I was on your show again right afterwards, so X to doubt. I'll have her come in here if you want. And Bagface, our good friend, is here to drop some hot takes, I'm sure, on Rings of Power.
Oh, Chad is gonna love me today. We're gonna be best friends.
You're ever the contrarian, so it's fine.
That's why he's dead center. So.
I'm a centrist. Big mind, big brain,
exactly.
Centrist. I'm like Tim Pool, you know?
Yeah, Tim Pool. He's very centrist. Indeed.
What is that old saying about like people who are like sitting on the fence? They actually secretly just enjoy the sensation.
Something like that.
It's not a secret that I'm a bottom. We've talked about this.
God.
That's wrong.
And also
Radical
returning
centrist.
to the channel, moving on, is Greg Owen. He's back for a second week in a row. Hello, Greg.
Thank you so much for having me, sir. Appreciate it.
Man. Yeah, I appreciate you coming back, man. I love chatting with you. I love chatting with all these people. Reapers to be determined, but I certainly love his videos. So
Reaper has this amazing ability to take over every stream he's on. So you may or may not like that.
Well, it depends how drunk I am.
Fair enough.
And how passionate you are about the topic.
Oh yeah, and the other man, Dark Hour. Yeah, the man to my right. Forget about him. But we can't forget about him because he's helping us with the show now. So he's gonna be here regularly.
That's
What this means
fresh.
is that if anything ever goes wrong, it's entirely his fault, which is good.
Yeah, blame it on him, not for me on my lateness, etc., which happens. It's now all going to be Dark Hour's fault.
And he's getting naked just to start off. It's always a good start.
Perfect. Oh, there you go.
It's just how I do it. I just have a shirt on all the time, and it's a brand new one. It has his tag on it and everything, and it's just right underneath.
Did you just take off one shirt for another shirt?
Yes, he did.
That's what I do.
I feel like that tops the Ryan Gosling Barbie 2 sunglasses gag right there. That's fantastic.
Came in this morning, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do this gag," as you can see by the tag. So that
I can't believe you actually bought this, bro. Well, the first thing we were going to talk about is Rings of Power. In fact, Bagface just sent me my video back, and I haven't got a chance to watch it back so I can take the slurs out. Yeah. But what did everyone think of this show? Let's start with Reaper, since I'm sure it's not good.
Can I swear?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, fuck
Oh,
yeah.
it was fucking boring shit. Dragged on. Hated every character. I wished everyone died. The lore shit. The way they said you will be the Lord of the Rings when fucking Anatar comes out. Oh, made me cringe. Oh, God, I hate that show.
Yep, I would actually say it's every criticism from season 1 seems to be passed right on to season 2. It was like a perfect through line. The things I was writing about this, I went back and watched some of my original coverage, and it was almost identical. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll have to integrate that into the script. It's the exact same criticisms.
But I think it's way more boring. Like, at least you were kind of figuring out what the fuck was going on because you didn't know anyone. Was this, you know everyone and you don't care?
Yeah, that was
like,
absolutely.
How many times are they going to talk about rings?
Well, at least at least this season,
cock rings, fucking anything would be better than what we got.
Season 1, the rings didn't matter until the 8th episode. So hey, at least we're improving on that, right?
Those are the titular rings right there that all look like costume jewelry. So
yeah, the CW the CW network example of where the I don't know, the clothing quality seems to come from. It looks like a DC Universe show or something, like Arrow. But Bagface, you told me something about this, so maybe we can just skip over to you and find out what you think of this show first. Or second, rather.
I feel like when I don't have a bunch of soft dick nerds screaming in my ear that this show sucks, it doesn't suck as bad. It's not good still, but it's a lot less offensive than I remember it being. So I give it like a 4 or 5. The issues with this show, I mean, but I rate like a person with a brain. Like when I say something's a 5, I will watch it and kind of enjoy certain parts of it. You know, if I don't like something, that's like a 2.
So is 5 for you like an actual, like it's mid? It's actually mid.
Yeah, it's just mid. It's just mid. And there's a lot of
you enjoy.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Which bits specifically did you
like really caught your attention?
I mean, the CGI work is incredible to me. It
cost $1 billion. That's like the minimum to expect.
Yeah, which I feel like something like this probably should cost that much. Like if you're looking at VFX artists being paid what they should be paid, which they probably weren't on this show, but assuming that some of that budget went to CGI, that's probably what something like a Marvel movie would probably cost if you paid someone, overtime and for their
$1 billion.
I mean, they already cost like 500 million, and they undercut the backbone of their movies constantly. So I would assume it would be a lot more if you paid people. But if you also like know what you're doing and plan ahead and do a lot of prep, all that shit's a lot cheaper. Anyways, I like the acting. Some of the acting's good. My issue with this show falls mostly on the direction and the DP, because I've realized I'm watching the trilogy right now, like the original trilogy, and it's just so different. And the visual language of this show just doesn't translate to the world of Lord of the Rings at all. It feels like I'm watching J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, but it's the Lord of the Rings story for some reason. It's just too clean. It feels like a sci-fi in that way. So my issues with it are less the script, more the pacing, the editing, and the filmmaking itself.
So we said, what do you like about it? And most of that was negative.
CGI, it was some acting.
And some of the acting.
Some
and that's
scenes.
A 5.
Yeah, because it's not like...
You were so generous.
I enjoy... I'm like, those Star Trek fans that like everything that Star Trek has ever done, even if it's bad, because they just like Star Trek.
You mean morons?
Yeah, I'm like a moron. There's a part of me that I'm like, this isn't really Lord of the Rings, but if I was watching this on YouTube and this was actually someone's fan fiction, I'd be like, Cool. I'll watch it.
Backface,
Even though it's not accurate.
I do have a question for you because I know you all often criticize sound mixing of everybody, including your own clients.
Indeed, as he should. I'm paying him, so he better.
Is it just me, or is the sound mixing on this show fucking terrible? Like, God, like I could barely hear some of the dialogue sometimes.
Yeah,
they just overdoing the gain on certain aspects of it. And
it feels over compressed in some parts and then like under compressed in others where you lose weird lines. But I guess another part of the show I like the like soundtrack to it or the scoring to it. I enjoy it. It's actually pretty good.
The
I
scoring
can agree with you on
part.
that. The scoring is definitely good, and that's required. That's 100% required for Lord of the Rings to have a good score.
There's a few other things I'd say are required that this show misses, but that's a base one you get.
I think the issue with the audio that I noticed, and I'm not a big audio person, so for me to notice it, I feel like is a pretty big criticism. But I noticed the post voice, whatever the term is for that. I noticed
ADR.
that pretty dramatically. Was it ADR? Is that right?
ADR.
Yeah. I noticed that in several scenes. Like, it's usually not so bad, and for a pretty big production like this, $1 billion production, some of the ADR spots were like, wow, that didn't sound like you were in the same room from line to line, or it's very clear that I'm looking at the back of somebody's head because they re-recorded that line. That was pretty noticeable and pretty bad. But the score was really good. The only thing about the score is I just thought, wow, I feel like I should feel something, and I absolutely don't. Like, all the leaves are growing back on the tree, and there's this amazing score, and I'm like, I should be excited, and I am absolutely not. And that was real bad.
Yeah, it's because you're not connected to any of the characters whatsoever. You're just kind of watching the things happen. Like, okay, the tree was dying in season 1, and now it's not dying. Hooray! I don't give a shit.
I think that was one of the problems with season 1 as well, because it's one of the. If you go back and read, say, like how Howard Shore composed the soundtrack for The Lord of the Rings, he sort of composes alongside reading the text, so he gets a very firm idea of character, motive, what they're thinking and feeling, how the world is thinking and feeling about them. And so, obviously, the core of any Lord of the Rings soundtrack, and Ben McCreary does this as well, as the leitmotif. Every character has a basic theme. Most places have a theme, but that theme can be deployed in any number of ways to tell you something about their journey or the way the world regards them at that present moment. I always thought that was what Ben McCreary was really struggling with in season 1, is that there's nothing to attach the score to. Like, there is no character. Galadriel has a theme. It's an identifiable theme. Numenor has a theme, which is an identifiable theme. But Galadriel isn't a character. She's just a bitch. And there's no development there. There's no actual depth. She doesn't go on a journey. She's just cold and unlikable all the way through. And what are you supposed to do as a composer with that? If the show isn't giving you a story to evoke with your theme, what are you even trying to evoke with your theme?
Yeah. I think what they're attempting to go with, since they pitch it as a 5-season deal, I think that they want to do the Galadriel is not nice in the beginning, and we'll see her grow, which is why when we meet her in Lord of the Rings, she says she wants to put on the ring, and she turns into the big dark scary queen for a moment. And I believe that what they want to do is try to connect it, and they want to take 5 seasons to do it. But I always look back at Iron Man. We've seen a great arc for 10 years of Tony Stark in the MCU, but each movie also had its own small arc, and that's what made him great over the course of all of that. You could get both the big arc and the little arcs. So I'm fine with them having this plan for a 5-season redemption arc that she realizes, I've become the thing I hate, and I want to do better. Whatever. That's fine if we get that in season 3 or 4. I could understand that. But each season also needs its own arc, and you're absolutely right. There's nothing with her. It's just foundational at this point, and we're 12 episodes into 5 seasons. This is crazy.
One thing I love about her is, as the seasons go on, even into this one, she rolls her R's longer and longer every time she says Sauron. She's like, it's Sauron. It's like, what? What?
That's why I took French and not Spanish. I cannot roll my tongue. It's like a deficiency. And can we also please get Niet to chime in here? I want to hear what you thought about Rings of Power, sir.
Well, I don't know how you guys subject yourself to this torture, because I tried watching season 1 last year and couldn't get past 15 minutes of episode 1. It was just cringy anti-fan fiction. I tried again last week. I legitimately tried to make an effort and made it through another 5 minutes and just started watching Platoon's coverage.
Yeah, it's way more entertaining. Any of the YouTube reviews are far more entertaining than the show. I mean, that's usually how it goes for the last like 3 or 4 major, productions from Disney too. But
for sure,
I do not hate Spanish people. I just rolled my R very well. I admire the Spanish.
Respect to the Spanish people from Dark Hour.
Absolutely. I guess the only thing I can contribute here is that in episode 1 of FCE Live, I made a joke that I wouldn't be surprised if Sauron said something like, "I am the Lord of the Rings," and apparently they have that in the show now.
Well. He says to Celebrimbor that he can be the Lord of the Rings. So
yeah,
you will be the Lord of the Rings.
It's like he might as well be doing the arms in the air with a sheet on his head. It's
as much as we mock this thing for being kind of like a soap opera too. It does remind me his delivery of that line, "You can be the Lord of the Rings," reminds of like and like sand through the hourglass, it is the days of our lives. It's and a lot of the advertising too is like perfect to get the soap opera 70-year-old grandmothers to try out Lord of the Rings.
Why? Who wants
them? I know some of but the advertising is like pitched to that crowd.
But the metaphors every 5 seconds. Every character makes a stupid metaphor every like other sentence. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just say what you mean.
It's so annoying, and it takes such a long time because they have these very long, overly dramatic pauses when they're doing it, and they keep doing it, and every single person does it as well. So it's very hard to tell. If you were just looking at the script without the character's name attached to it, you wouldn't entirely be sure who was speaking the line. Is that Gil-galad speaking, the High King of the Elves? Or is it fucking Lenny Henry from season 1, like the chief of the not hobbits? Because they all speak in the same tortured metaphors all over again. If it's not, "You will sweep the salt from the table like an angry person at dinner," it's, "You will have the milkweed snipped like the foreskin of someone who's had a bris." And it's just utter shit all the way through.
What was killing me is I couldn't use a lot of them for the video because the pauses were so long that I either had to chop them all out, so then it looks weird if I'm trying to show it to people. Like, this is what's so bad about the show. I want to show you, but the issue is every line takes 30 seconds because not Gandalf is like, "Don't you see 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi." No one can give you a name. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. It's something that you already have. I'm like, Jesus, I can't clip all of that. I'm gonna get copyrighted. Can you just say things?
I bet they did it on purpose because that's what they were doing with season 1. They were copyrighting the shit out of it. Built in against YouTube criticism.
The harp line was by far the worst one. That was just, he played me like a harp, but the melody was not my own. Like, what the hell are you even saying?
It seems like the writers literally were just like, sorry, go ahead, Reaper.
No, you finished.
I was just going to say, it seems like the writers are truly writing fan fiction because it's one of the stereotypes you think of Tolkien's writing, which is like, oh, it's very poetic. So therefore, I'm going to make analogies in every single one of my fucking lines of dialogue.
Yeah, it's
retarded.
It's like Acolyte all over again. It's this false profundity that they think sounds incredible, and when you really think about the lines for longer than half a second, they're so stupid.
Bagface, what was your favorite line?
I really like the "You will be the Lord of the Rings" line because I got that one. I knew what he was talking about. No, I'm not a fan of the writing of this show at all. I was looking at
the. Gave it a 5.
Yeah, because I like Lord of the Rings and I'll watch it. And okay, I don't know if everybody has memory loss issues or something, but this show's way fucking worse than way better than the Acolyte. Acolyte is, dude, Obi-Wan or like I don't even know. There's so many goddamn shows that I've watched lately because I have to do Cynics videos. So I'm like, I may as well watch the show so I know what's going on. Holy fuck, man. This is not the bottom of the barrel. It's not good at all. And the two dudes that are the showrunners have like one other credit on IMDb before this. I don't know how they got their hands on this show. Makes no goddamn sense. But yeah, I don't know.
Because they swallow.
So
they must.
that's actually interesting though that they don't have any credits because they do. I looked this up because I got to talk about this in a different video, but a lot of their work has been uncredited because they make scripts for things that just don't end up panning out, but they're uncredited or they make the first draft or whatever. A lot of their work was at Bad Robot, which is owned by J.J. Abrams. So if you're wondering where all of their experience came from and why this show is filled with mystery boxes, it's because most of their professional career has been working directly for J.J. Abrams at his production company.
It's that over-reliance on McMuffins, which is like one of the many big problems of season 1 is, because you had the stupid evil key throughout the rest of it. And, I mean, you say it's not as bad as the Acolyte, but the Acolyte never switched on a volcano with an evil magic key. Like that is just retarded. It's like you can't compare that. I like it's longer than the Acolyte, which makes I think the awfulness seem a bit more diffuse, and it's also seems to be going somewhere, so like there's more of a reason to stick with it, whereas the Acolyte was quite plainly going nowhere. But in terms of if you just compare the individual beats, it's as bad at least. And it's worse, I would argue, because it's actually destroying things as opposed to the Acolyte, which you can more safely kind of ignore, I think. Like, it tries to do stuff with canon, it fucks it up, it changes Ki-Adi-Mundi's birthday for no very good reason, but then it's cancelled, so it doesn't go anywhere. And we're not all going to be told in 6 months' time that this is the novel that George Lucas never wrote or could never write, which we were with Rings of Power. But, season 1 is one of the worst written things I've had the displeasure of seeing on TV. And season 2 is starting off by just compounding all of the many problems with season 1. It's making whole chunks of season 1 either redundant or retconned. So, the opening of season 1 has Galadriel talking about the 1,000 years in which she spends searching for Sauron. So you're led to believe, and there's the visuals to sell the point. You see Sauron in his full armor. It's one of the first big images to come out of the show. He's standing in the fortress in Vorodwaith, and he's standing over the orcs wearing his armor. It looks really cool, and you think, oh shit, Sauron's out there somewhere. We have to go and find him. That scene can't exist. It literally cannot exist, because season 2 opens, and it's like, oh yeah, Sauron was just like a random elf dude, and he told his orcs he'd be really nice to them, and then to prove his point, he stabbed one of them. And then he got stabbed with his own hat, and then he turned into fucking dark flubber, and then he spent 1,000 years flopping across Middle-earth, and that's what really happened. So, like, the two introductory scenes of the two seasons can't actually exist in the same show. Then, of course, you get the fact that half of season 1 is spent building up Bronwyn as a character, to be like the moral center of the entire Southlands arc, reluctant leader. She's the true leader of her people because the king is actually Sauron. And then at some point, she decides she's not coming back for season 2. So they say, well, fuck it, write her out of the show. She died off screen because we forgot that orc arrows might be a bit dangerous sometimes. And in doing that, they had to reset the entire relationship arc that they sent Theo, her son, and Don Lemon, her fuck elf, on. So that's been reset as well. So all of the time you spend analyzing season 1 thinking, well, this is the arc they're going on. No, fuck it, just throw it out the window. Season 2 proceeds as though it did not in fact occur because it can't, so it has to reset. It's awful. And I'm annoyed at it because I'm still having to finish off reviewing season 1. So I'm going through all of this saying, you know what? I see what you were doing with this. It was bad, but I know where you were going. And it's pointless me analyzing it because you're about to throw it out the fucking window. So what am I supposed to do with that?
What's odd is that they recast Adar, but they didn't recast Bronwyn. Like,
I saw that too. I had to make a note of that in my script. Her modern day eyebrows are missed.
I was excited. She, at least she went to do something. She actually decided she was going to go try to do something important. But yeah, it's very strange that they didn't want to recast her, but they did recast Adar. And you've got, like Toon said, you have this entire fourth leg of the story that now just kind of like Theo seems to be dead. They're pretty much just trying to wrap that whole bit up as fast as they can because they don't know what else to do.
And it's like they spent so much time on that, so much time. Basically, episodes 6 through 8 of season 1 is all about that. And Theo the son, he starts off being antipathetic toward Don Lemon. They come closer together. They have the whole will issue, like, oh my goodness, we think the mother is dead bit, and like we're all supposed to care about that, and it's supposed to be a huge relief when they turn up and she's alive after all, and now she's dead after all. And so he's gone from his arc of hating the elf, and now he liked the elf, and then it's season 2, and he hates the elf again because we just have to redo it. It was so good the first time. Fuck it, do it again. Why not?
Is it true that the arc's gonna go?
No, go on, Repo.
I was just saying, where do you think that arc is going to go? Because it's completely pointless.
I don't really know. I think they'll just do the same thing again. They'll have he and Don Lemon will be against each other, and like Theo will go off and do something reckless, and then he'll learn from his mistake, which is exactly what happened in season 1. Then they'll come together and they'll realize they have more in common after all, and season 2 will end with them nice to each other or something. It's exactly what happened the first time, so I don't see why they'd invent something new. It's not like they're paid lots of money to write it or something.
Well, he had the sword, didn't he? He had the Mordor sword that opens up a fucking tower or something.
Yeah, the evil sword that opens the dam, that floods the trench, that no one saw being built, that floods the volcano, which turns on, and then shoots
elves with super eyesight couldn't see these miles of trenches.
Yeah, and trenches and dead trees. Well, and then the opening of season 2, Sauron runs into the caravan, and they're like, "Oh, orcs just attacked that direction." So there's been orc attacks, and there are refugees from the orc attacks. But as you said, season 1, no one knew about them at all. No one's seen orcs forever. So yeah, season 2 opens up and just destroys everything from season 1.
I love how with the opening for Sauron, they give him this kind of a guide for about 2 seconds, and he's a conscience for him, and he tries to explain how he chooses to be good. And then as soon as the that water monster attacks the boat, he's like, "Fuck you," and just disappears. Steals his shit and disappears.
That absolutely breaks season 1 as well. Everything about this season 2 breaks season 1. So the old dude, well, no, fuck it. Season 1, Galadriel goes off to Numenor. She goes off to a library. This is one of the worst scenes in season 1, and she realizes that the symbol she's been following is like an aerial view map reference, which she spots on the map in the wall in the library, and that's how they know where to go, like go back to the Southlands, because that's where the plan is taking place. Off screen during that period, she also finds this other symbol, and that symbol is supposed to denote the king of the Southlands, and it's the symbol that Halbrand is wearing. And so she says, "You must be the king" in season 1, which is dumb anyway, because it's like he could have, and he tells her, he said, "I took it from an old dude. It's not really mine.
Telling the truth.
Could have got it from anywhere." He was telling the truth the whole time. And she's like, "No, you are definitely the king." And the queen looks at it and says, "I believe that. I'm going to send my armies to go and fight for the king based on this fucking symbol." And then you get to the end of season 1, and Bronwyn sees it. Bronwyn lives in the Southlands. The Southlands are the people who are waiting for their king. She sees the symbol, and she says, "Yep, you must definitely be the king," which means, of course, that she can't have seen the symbol anywhere else. It can't just be this thing that any random person can be wearing, because if it was, she wouldn't make that assumption. But then season 2 comes along, and it's exactly, he nicks it from an old dude. Anyone can wear it. It doesn't know anything. Not only was Galadriel dumb for believing it, but Bronwyn, who should have known better, was dumb for believing it. And like it just breaks that entire thing. Every character involved in that is even more stupid than they already were. And they were already massively stupid.
So I didn't want to go back and watch it, but since you are analyzing the first season, Platoon, do you remember the conversation with Galadriel? And she finds the ancestry thing. Does she say specifically how long it's been since the Southlands has had a king in that confrontation?
I don't think she says specifically. It's supposed to be hundreds of years, if not 1,000.
That was the impression that I got. And I didn't want to go back and watch this crap. But I got the impression that it had been a long time. And then Arondir says, "I've been patrolling this place for 83 years. So yeah, in season 1, it never did make sense that there hasn't been a king for a very long time. And then this guy shows up and he's like, "Oh, he must be the king." Nobody knew that there hasn't been a king for generations. That never comes up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, exactly. It's dumb as all hell. I think it is. It must be close to 1,000 years or something.
I think there was a line about how long. I'm pretty certain there was.
Random just said the last man to bear your crest died over 1,000 years ago. Apparently,
okay, yeah, over 1,000 years, even worse, over 1,000 years. And then because there's that scene when the Numenorians take the village and it's all triumphant, and like Don Lemon's like, "Oh, the villagers have been waiting for this for generations," and Galadriel says, "Oh, not as long as the elves." Why are you trying to steal their moment? Why is this about you? Why have you been waiting for the king of the Southlands? You don't know anything about the king of the Southlands. So that's dumb. I mean, what else in season 2 breaks season 1? Oh, yeah. So season 1, you have the confrontation over the mithril with the dwarves. The dwarves have mithril. The elves want mithril because the show has reinvented mithril. It's now linked to the Silmarils. The elves offer the dwarves 500 years of supplies and provisions in exchange for mithril, and the dwarves say no because they don't need it. Season 2 kicks off. The dwarves, because evil has spread out through a map reference, and now it's affecting everything, and the dwarven farms are corrupted, and they don't think to just go outside and pick fucking apples, which they can do. They don't think to do that. So they're running out of food, and then they go to the elves, and rather than saying, hey, you know the 500 years of supplies you said we could have in exchange for mithril, we'll take that deal after all. We'll give you mithril, give us food. Instead, the elves say, how about magic rings? And the dwarves should be saying, why? We don't need magic rings. Why the fuck would we have a magic ring?
Rings?
Can we just have, we can't eat rings. We need apples. But they don't think to do that because they forgot what they wrote in season 1. Another instance of season 2 just trampling all over everything it tried to build.
At least Galadriel's consistent in the fact that she is truly never held accountable for anything she fucks up at all. And as soon as season 2 starts, when she walks up to the Elf King, she immediately, it's given to Elrond to make the correct decision in that awful scene where he jumps off a fucking waterfall like he's running away from the predator. And then and she's sitting there in her righteousness screaming that he's doing the wrong thing. Like, do you fucking remember how season 1 ended, you idiot? Because that was 2 seconds ago in your time. And you were convinced by the Dark Lord. Well, basically you fell for the Dark Lord, and you are almost 100% responsible for the creation of these rings. But no, please tell me what Elrond is doing is wrong.
Yeah, he's the only sensible one throughout pretty much the entire thing. Go ahead, Reaper.
Well, remember what she says when Elrond goes, well, you've been hiding the fact that you've been trying to fuck Sauron. And she goes, well, at least I didn't fail the mithril thing. And I'm like, you fucking bitch.
God.
He trying to save all the elves and failing is not as bad as you concealing the fact that you were trying to suck off Sauron.
And he didn't even fail. They got the mithril to make the rings.
Yeah.
They were fine. But it's even worse than that, because the entire premise for season 2 is that obviously Sauron goes to as Halbrand, he goes to Celebrimbor and he's like, I haven't told you the whole truth. You think I'm Halbrand, but actually I'm going to use fucking dark magic. I'm going to turn all the lights off, which looks scary and sinister, and I'm going to summon myself in fire and tell you I'm a messenger from the gods. And he's going to believe that because he's an idiot. But the only way he can believe that is because Galadriel didn't tell him that Halbrand was Sauron at the end of season 1. And she didn't tell him. Yeah, but she didn't tell him that he was Sauron because she felt she would look bad for that. So the only reason season 2 can happen is because Galadriel is one of the worst characters ever created in fiction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember the end of episode 3 where Gil-galad goes, we're going to send Elrond in charge of the team, and Galadriel has a problem with it. And you're like, why? You've proven time and again you are an untrustworthy cunt.
And you know that Sauron is actually corrupting the thing the elves consider the most important of all things, the forge that can create the rings on which the entire future of Middle-earth is dependent. And Gil-galad's first it's fine. I'm sure it's cool. He's got rivers. Rivers will protect him. And Galadriel also believes that this is true, but she gets really salty that Elrond gets to lead the mission, even though Elrond just jumped off a cliff in a bid to betray them. So why he's been put in charge, I don't know. But she thinks the fate of the world is at stake and gets way more upset about her own reputation because she's just evil. Season 2 is slightly less offensive, I guess, than season 1 because there's just less of her in it. But every time she's on screen, it's just, oh, I remember how fucking appalling you are. Why are you still here?
It's even weirder when you think about the fact. Oh, go ahead, Cynic.
I was just going to say, no one's ever punished for their deeds in the show. It's like everyone just accepts, oh, they're just, a bunch of silly gooses. It's not a big deal.
They threatened to demote Elrond multiple times, and then he's punished by being promoted.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. They're like, oh, he's gonna be brought down, and then all of a sudden,
the office-based method.
Yeah.
The king says he's thinking about punishing Galadriel for what she did, and I'm sorry, he doesn't say he's thinking about it. The two of them in a room alone, he says, "I'm considering it."
Right,
the same way he delivers every other fucking line.
One of my favorite scenes was when they're speaking English, and so there's the unwritten rule within fantasy and fiction that if two characters would normally be speaking another language, or to assume that they are speaking that. So in this case, it would be speaking Elvish. And then all of a sudden they switched to Elvish for no reason. We could have just assumed they were doing that. And I can only assume that it's a throwback to trying to do the to Lord of the Rings, when it was used as a device to kind of be like a middle finger to Elrond, to be like, look, I love humans, and I'm going to speak English in your presence. And they don't understand why that happened in the original movies, in the book, and they just kind of use it. And that's the only thing I could come up with, though. I don't know if anybody else caught that.
I did not. That's a great perspective. I didn't even think about it. I just thought they thought it would be cool. They thought it'd be cool to throw some Elvish in. That's as deep as I thought they were thinking about it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
wonder whether actually it was related to whether the actors had too tough a job learning it, because some of the actors use it in season 1 over fairly extended periods, and some of them will do it for like a word and then they'll immediately switch back. So there's a scene in season 1, it's when Galadriel arrives at the village with the Numenorians and encounters Don Lemon. And she calls him soldier in Elvish, and then immediately says in English, "Where is he going?" It's like, well, why did you bother calling him soldier in Elvish and then just switching midway through the sentence? It's weird though, because she's Welsh and like Elvish is based on Welsh. So if anyone should be able to do it, she should, because the Welsh basically speak Elvish already. But some of them seem much more comfortable with it. The original actor for Adar was quite comfortable with it. He had quite extended scenes in, I think, Elvish and in Black Speech, actually. So they're just very inconsistent with how they deploy it. It's probably just a time-saving thing, to be honest.
I kind of just take it like they're in Quebec, because that's where I live. And sometimes people will talk to you, and half their sentence will be French. And I'm like, excuse me? And then they'll say the other half in English and the other half in French. And it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough out here.
I thought that was related to like how they do Spanish in movies often. Like if it's a Spanish family living in America or Mexican family or something, and they'll just go back and forth between Spanish and English, like they do in the Spider-Verse movies. I thought that's just like a trope.
That's pretty much how real life is with people in those areas, though. Especially like, I don't live that far from New York. Spanglish is kind of the unofficial language of the Bronx, essentially, and so that's pretty common. I can understand that, but it's almost useless to do in this context because it's not really a language. So unless you're trying to, like I said, in Lord of the Rings, it was used as a plot device to show an appreciation toward humans. Here it's just because, oh, it's cool, this person knows some Elvish, and it's weird to me. I don't know. I could be reading too far into it.
No, I think I think that was a good point, especially with the whole respect thing in the beginning. And I think they just saw that. You're absolutely right that they just saw it and went, "Hey, that was cool. We'll do it," with zero understanding.
There are lots of examples of that. I mean, all the way through the number of overt callbacks to the Jackson films that are there just because they understand that they're in the popular films. It's like several times an episode, and it's getting even more common. It was already common in season 1, like stealing lines wholesale, but putting them completely out of place or in context where they don't belong or absent the deeper meaning they're supposed to convey, just because they've heard them spoken in a popular thing. And season 2 is just carrying straight on with that. It's visual references as well. Even the scene when they all put their hands together with the rings, that's just a 1-for-1 shot stolen from the opening monologue in Fellowship of the Ring. It keeps doing it, and it takes you out of whatever the show's trying to build. Because that one. I mean, it's almost exactly the same shot as the opening from Fellowship.
Yeah, you remember?
I remember. In Fellowship, though, they can actually hold their hands still. Whereas in this one, like they've got fucking Parkinson's or something. I don't know why.
It reminded me of the scene in Blazing Saddles when he's like, "I shoot with this one." It's like...
But yeah, when we took up several minutes to have the spider Shalab, like it wasn't even an origin story. It felt like it was just there to go, "Hey, remember this? Remember this? Remember there was a spider? It's Mordor, right? This is the thing." Like it didn't go anywhere. It was completely. The horse could have rescued him out of the village, the same as the horse could have rescued him out of the cave. But they chose the cave just to have the spider, just to jangle the keys in front of your face. It was ridiculous.
That is broken as I'm going to keep having to do this, but my head is still stuck in season 1, so I remember all of it. In season 1, when Mount Doom goes off and they lose Isildur is presumed dead. The scene prior to that, Elendil tells him, "Oh, your horse forms this unbreakable psychic bond with you in battle. It knows your every thought, your every feeling." And I was sitting there thinking all the way through when he thinks his son is dead and he's like trying to stop the horse running away. Follow the fucking horse. You've just told us. You yourself specifically told us you should follow the horse, and he doesn't think to do that. And then season 2 comes along and just proves that he should have done that because the horse does indeed find a seal door, which is another visual callback because it's when the horse rescues Aragorn in the Two Towers. That's what they're doing. And he rescues it from what is supposed to be Shelob's cave. I also like the way the timeline has been so massively compressed because he goes off into the Black Forest, I think they call it. And the orc is like, oh no one ever comes out of the Black Forest. But it's only been the Black Forest for 15 minutes. Mordor didn't exist until the volcano switched on 2 days ago. Why are you pretending like it's always been a thing? It hasn't.
They've all got superstitions about shit that's brand new.
I mean, maybe one person has tried to transverse the Black Forest, didn't make it. So now, I mean, technically that would be correct then. No one has ever transversed it properly. It could be a very small sample size is all I'm saying, Platoon.
Just one orc doesn't come back. So then that forevermore will be known as the Black Forest because one dude got lost. And it turns out he's not even dead because he's still alive in the spider's lair, and then the spider explodes his head somehow, which is great.
That was fucking sweet, dude. Are you serious? That was cool as fuck.
Sometimes I'm jealous of people like Bagface who just be like, that was so awesome, and I just fucking love it.
I mean, I have a lot of fun with it. It's very funny. It's just because it's so massively incompetent. Like, I did not expect them to turn Sauron into jelly. That's funny.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting way of doing things and completely breaking the timeline that they already established.
Does anyone think the earthquakes in the Dwarven kingdoms are done by the Balrog, which isn't supposed to be awake for like another 3,000 years, or is it Sauron? Because I thought
that they said that didn't they say that it was because of the basically the events that happened at the beginning of the episode have been like causing essentially a large chain reaction.
The way they do it is that the dwarves all the way over in Moria have already heard somehow about what happened all the way over in Mordor now, the Southlands prior. So like they attribute it to the rising evil in the east. I don't know how they know about it, but
yeah.
It's not even that because like the show has this really hazy relationship with what it wants to be mechanical and what it wants to be magical. So it tends to shy away from evil magic, except where it really should lean into it. So like Mordor is created by the scientific activation of a volcano. But then season 2 gives you that map sequence where the evil black tendrils are just spreading out to give the impression that evil is crossing the entire world and having these chain reactions very far afield. And that's what causes earthquake. Well, in theory, that's what causes earthquakes. It shuts the dwarven sunlight thing off. But the farms being corrupted is just the evil. That's got nothing very much to do with the sun being
vague evil causes natural phenomenons.
Yes, except where it doesn't.
But like the thing is, though, the dwarves. Sorry, the only thing the dwarves can do. I mean, he goes to give the rings to him because of this earthquakes that are happening. That's the only way Sauron can trick the dwarves into having the rings. So it's just pure coincidence that these events just happen to line up for him.
Oh yeah, there's loads of that. So like the other reason as well is that so like Gil-galad doesn't even think to check up on what's happening with Celebrimbor on the Forge, even though it's the most important thing to him in the entire universe. And then eventually he sends one rider with a letter, and the rider gets killed by, I guess, an orc or something evil in the forest between Lindon and Eregion, which is the opposite side of the world from Mordor. Yeah. But that's done to aid Sauron, but Sauron is not in control of the evil that has caused it. So that is only coincidence. Evil has spread. Evil caused Messenger to die. Messenger dying means that Celebrimbor is unwarned about Sauron, but it benefits Sauron because the show's kind of anticipating the point at which Sauron does take control. But anticipation is a huge flaw in writing because there's no causal link there.
But there's a thing, like darkness is rising, but Sauron is goop. So who's the darkness?
It just exists. It's just vague evil.
Yeah. Was the general evil? Is that what caused the one random wave to come up and slap the boat when the guy was about to drop the rings into the completely still waters that he was on? Is that what happened? Also,
the giant
volcano underneath it. There's a volcano somewhere underneath the water. I think is what he says. And then he goes to drop it in, and the sea sort of burps at him. And so like there are. I don't think that's ever going to be explained, but the two rival theories are, yes, it's evil, or because one of the rings is, I think Nenya is the one that controls water or is linked to water. So one of the theories is that, and like he puts that ring on later and shows how it controls fish and water and things. One of the theories is that that's the natural world calling out to the ring and refusing its destruction is another way to read that. I don't know which they'll go with, but
when the sea chooses it. That's big in that.
Platoon, correct me if I'm wrong, but because I'm not a Tolkien like historian or anything like that. I know you know a lot more about it than me, but isn't it like well known amongst the elves that Sauron contains the ability to shapeshift?
Not in this show, but
well, I mean, in the real lore, I should say. Isn't that like that's the thing that is like his telltale sign?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, like, so I've actually been not wrestling. Basically everything we've been criticizing at the moment has nothing to do with the lore, so it's not just what was Backface's expression at the beginning, soft dick angry nerds. This is just the show's self-contained incompetence. If you do want to go into the lore stuff, the elves realize that Anatar is Sauron, but only after all the rings have been created. So he creates the rings, he inspires them to create the rings, and the plan is through that he can build the one which will ensnare them all. But when they put their rings on, then he puts the one ring on, then it's revealed to them that Anatar was Sauron all along, and they know to distrust him. Some of the elves already distrusted him. Galadriel always distrusted him, which is one of the biggest breaks between canon and Rings of Power. Gil-galad also was skeptical of him, I think, and was very skeptical of him. The elves of Eregion and under Celebrimbor were a bit more open to the ring's creation. So that's semi-accurate, but I don't think they know he can shapeshift until the moment it's revealed that he has done it, but some of them have other reasons for distrusting him beforehand.
Okay.
I just want to say, too, I know that Sauron's a thirst trap, but not after he puts that fucking wig on, you guys. So, I think Amelia said that in the chat. Nah, you won't like him after that.
What's that South Park episode where Walmart, he goes, I take many forms, and he just takes a mustache off, or he puts a hat on. He goes, now you'll see my true form, and he just takes his mustache back on.
I might have to use that clip. That's good. I like that one.
Yeah.
I would like to point out to everyone in the chat, I only got a little bit of hate, which is not that bad. I have issues with this show. My issues are just not with writing, because if you can't tell, I'm pretty much illiterate. I really enjoy filmmaking. My issues with this show are on a filmmaking basis, mostly because it just looks like shit. I made the joke to Cynic earlier that it looks like it's shot in like a CNN newsroom. All the lighting is just so perfect, so soft, so warm all the time. And the part of the charm for me of the original Lord of the Rings is the weird juxtaposition of having such fantastical stories and characters in a world that feels so real, because it's pretty much just a commercial for Peter Jackson and New Zealand. So I don't know. There's a specific there's tons of specificity I could get into. Peter Jackson loves to shoot with really long lenses, which I think they miss out on this show. The one shot that Cynic points out in his review, whenever it drops, you guys can watch it. There's a person riding on a horse in the sunset, and it's just a really long lens. It's got to be like a 600 millimeter lens, and it makes for really epic looking landscape shots that you can only get if you're actually shooting in the real world, which most of this show is not shot in the real world, which is unfortunate because you lose the ability to capture the essence of Lord of the Rings in a filmmaking way. So yeah, I got issues. It's just I'm also dumb, so like I don't notice when things don't match up. And I'm like, oh yeah, Sauron turned into goo. That's pretty cool. That's neat. That doesn't break anything.
I'm just going through and just highlighting all of the increasingly angry responses we're getting. He's goo.
I'm a nerd for different shit. I'm not a nerd for story and lore, unless it's Harry Potter. Then I'll fuck you up.
When he was flopping down that mountain for about 20 minutes, just flopping around, you went, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. He could turn into goo. That's neat." Then he grabs that rat, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." It's like Venom.
He grabbed a rat, bro. Fuck
yeah. It's like Venom, bro. I don't know.
But when he died, his immortality seems to be worse when he gets the ring, because he's stuck being an eye. Whereas if he can die normally and become goo, he can.
I think that's actually explained in the lore, right? Like every time he dies, he gets weaker, I think, And
No,
the
that's
last time,
Voldemort you're thinking of.
no, I'm pretty sure it's Sauron too.
No,
Like, and then eventually when he
Sauron-
dies at the end of the Lord of the Rings, his essence is just dispersed. He doesn't actually die. He just like can't take physical form
Yeah,
again.
he'll always linger, but like he has to pour a lot of himself into the ring. So like the ring is the one Horcrux he has, to use terms you would be familiar with. So
Thank you.
it's like it's not he's not necessarily he's weakened after the creation of the ring only insofar as by having to pour so much of himself into the ring. It's what makes him immortal, but it's also what stops him from attaining physical form again, because the stuff that he would use to retain physical form is in the ring itself.
But he's more immortal now because he can just goo.
Yeah.
So the
And
ring's actually a weakness.
Arguably, yes, and that's you could argue that's sort of the point. Arguably, of the ring is that he places this gamble to increase his power, and in so doing weakens his physical self. So the ring is like a calculated risk, and of course, he never really expects to lose it. But we have already seen him do way cooler shit without the ring while disembodied, even in The Hobbit, where it does that weird sort of epileptic thing when he's confronting Gandalf and he takes the shadow form and he sprays him with like black mist and then he shoots off in a fireball, and that's all pretty cool. And if you can do that without the ring when he is weakened, why would you want to turn into goo and slop around the world for thousands of years?
I like this one. Sauron Flex Seal. I like this.
Well, he explodes cold and freezes like an entire mountainscape.
Oh,
Yeah, that was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
That's the sky
And
beam out of
nobody
his mouth.
freezes. Nobody freezes. They go, oh, that was cold. Just a bit of snow on them. He literally changes the climate.
Yeah, what are the
See,
people
it
think that
literally-
he finds like a little bit later? The carriage that he finds, they paid no mind to that whatsoever.
It's a literal nuclear winter.
They
That's
did all
because
survive the
Galadriel's
pyroclastic
completely-
flow in season 1, though. I mean, like they survived 1,000-degree heat and like 300-mile-an-hour
nothing.
winds and shit. Like no one dies from environmental effects in this show.
Yeah, I watched a documentary about people that got stuck beside an erupting volcano a few weeks ago, and it's like pretty crazy, man. That'll literally melt you like to the bone if you're too close. And she gets blinded and has no scars. I don't.
Yeah, that
get
was the
it.
thing. I
Blinded.
forgot who was blinded because it's been 2 years, and because they didn't make any attempt to actually show she was blind until the end of the episode 3, when she's like flailing around in this. It's supposed to be dramatic, and she's just absolutely flailing around like a fucking retard.
It's because they do it in at the end, toward the end of season 1. It's a bigger deal because she tries to hide it from everyone. She's still trying to hide it from people, but only
Which is
Elendil
fine.
and the other the lieutenant guy, only they know, so they have to guide her. But it's not even the volcano that blinds her. Like Galadriel finds Theo and just thinks, well, my job's done. That's my good deed for the day, and walks off and leaves everybody else to burn alive. Meanwhile, the queen is there trying to rescue people. She walks into a house. A beam falls. It doesn't fall on her, but she gets sprayed in the face by sparks, and that's what blinds her. And I think the only reason they did it that way, rather than something more dramatic like something that would leave a scar, is because they wanted her to have this stressful bit where she has to hide her weakness, but they don't use that at any point. They don't really drum up tension, and it has no bearing at all on the eventual decision to supplant her with Pharazôn. And that's all fucking broken as well, because we keep being told how great he is as a manipulator and a demagogue, and he's marshalling public opinion. He's just standing closest to the window when the fucking eagle turns up. That's how he's anointed.
And it's
Doesn't
not
need to
him,
manipulate
someone
his
else does
way
it.
there.
He doesn't even
Someone
start the
else takes
chant.
advantage.
So before we move on, I think Bagface should read this super chat.
Oh yeah, Team Bagface, enjoy what you can when you can. Let's go.
And
You know
then
what?
I started a couple of things for you after that, by the way.
You're the best.
Volcanoes are indeed hot. That is correct.
They
And,
are.
And then you
Apparently.
recognize the shitty parts. You just like them.
Yeah. It's to me, okay. Okay, there's two things. One, I can take into account, that Tolkien was a man that went through World War I and wrote this amazing story and built a world out of his own mind. And the worst thing that's happened to the people that are writing this show is like BLM riots. It just doesn't compare. Those two things aren't the same. So all the things they're trying to dig for to give us like life lessons in the dialogue, it's just never going to land because they're not people that have any life to pull from, which is, I can cut you some slack on that. You're like a pampered Hollywood kid that tried to write Lord of the Rings and it turned out to this. So there you go. And then I like shitty things. I watch Love Island. I watch Survivor. You know, sometimes it's just nice to watch shitty things and you just don't think about it. But then I can go watch the original trilogy and I can think about it and I can like stew in every line and pause it and talk to my girlfriend about the fucking how many chain links these two dudes had to do in a basement to like make all the prop armor and shit. And I will fucking nerd out about that stuff and I will really enjoy it. You can enjoy both things. It's just, I think a lot of people get stuck on Rings of Power because it's pulling from something that is so fucking good. And it's not like Star Wars where it was never good. And I will stand on that fucking hill for the rest of my life.
Shit.
Man,
Star Wars had like one good movie. It was hated from like 1985 until 2024. Okay.
I'm just muting him. No, I'm just
It absolutely was.
Speed running the hatred of the chat right now.
Lord of the Rings.
I can't even look because I'm looking at the scoopers.
It's legitimately perfect. So
before Bagface ruins this this member message any further, I would just like to point out that Eraserhead has said love to us, rip J.R.R. Tolkien, September 2nd. So it is the anniversary of his. That's the anniversary of his death? I'm guessing.
Yes.
I don't know his birth date. So yes.
Well, he fought in World War One.
No, I mean
the impossible to fight.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, yeah, I didn't go far enough to realize. I'm not sure if I wasn't, but yeah. So it was indeed.
Yeah. And what you were saying earlier, Bagface, like the show simultaneously looks like shit and looks incredible, and that's what's really frustrating about it because it's one of the only redeeming qualities of the show. The music's tremendous, but it doesn't match what's going on screen, so it's hard to say that's actually a quality of it. But as far as visually, it's shot like shit. As far as the brightness level is terrible, so the lighting is absolute ass. So it really shines. Man. It shines a horrible light on how fucking bad the costumes look. But then at the same time, the CGI often looks absolutely incredible, as you would expect with the kind of fucking budget they have. So yeah, it looks like shit and looks incredible at the same time, and that's the only redeeming quality of it. It's like a half and half.
Yeah, the blocking, I think, needs more hate because it's sometimes people will just stand still and talk to each other for no reason. And then other times it's like somebody remembered that blocking is a thing and they're like, you walk across the room while you're talking just because, and then stare off as you say the line. It's terrible.
And there's shots. I didn't realize until I was editing Cynic's video, but there is whole sequences where they will go over the shoulder each character, like back and forth like 10 times. And the shot does not change. And then all of a sudden they'll do a scene where two people are talking and they'll do like a huge sweeping like crane move into someone's face. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
I would assume there's a lot of ADR then, like those scenes.
I think they just had the money and they were like, let's do cinematic stuff. I think that's what the dark is. I genuinely think they're like, ooh, dark is cinematic. We're going to shoot everything at night and it's going to be so cool looking. And we're going to crank up the contrast. And look, Sauron is in a prison and there's a dog creature and we'll just have one flame on the side of his face. And it'll literally be the only thing you can see in the entire shot. But that's going to look so cool. And it doesn't. With the boom thing, I like it's the same thing.
Why do you think everything is just pitch black and you can't see it? Because when the Two Towers happens, they had that soft blue light to represent the moon. Now it's just, oh, fuck it, it's your TV. Because was it the Game of Thrones people? They blamed everyone. Going, your telly's on. Fucking
they purposely chose they purposely chose a woman to direct every single episode. So I cannot imagine that they were hired based on fucking merit. All of them, anyway. So you're comparing fucking off the street directors that probably have commercials for for their portfolio versus Peter fucking Jackson. So
and Peter
again,
Jackson
though,
didn't
that's
do
part
shit
of the problem.
Before this, though.
Yes, he did. Are you
Lord of the Rings? He didn't do anything big budget.
Like a lot of people, they cut their chops doing small budget horror films. So he did Dead Alive. He did The Frighteners. Those are fucking fantastic horror movies that are made on shoestring budgets. I mean, granted, The Frighteners had a little bit more. He was able to get Michael J. Fox in the movie. The CGI is not great, but the story is fantastic. The look of that movie is incredible. So that's why they picked him, because he could do a lot with very little. And so he did. He made 3 movies for a total of $300 million. They only had $100 million budget apiece. And so, there's a reason why it's standing the test of time, because he had He had the ability, he showed it, and then they hired him for it, and he proved it.
We have a nice super chat here that is
I like
continuing to attack Bagface. So.
Bagface has pissed off J-Mac so much that he's donated a very generous $100 to respond. Thank you very much. That's very generous of you. Star Wars was never good. Boo this man. I honestly can't take anyone seriously if they actually believe this. Perfect, no, but the OT is timeless for a reason. Even Return of the Jedi. That's not even mentioning the countless amazing EU works, including games and comics. Boo. I broadly agree with that. I mean, I find Return of the Jedi frustrating, and it is sort of the beginning of the decline. Star Wars does have one excellent movie, one good movie, one tolerable movie, 3 movies that I love, but they're really quite shit, and 3 just appalling fucking movies. So, like, as a cinematic franchise, it's not really great in that sense, but you were right about the timeless qualities of it, and it's evidently spawned so much by way of the expanded universe. There has to be something in there for people to be so swept up by how awesome it was. And the way it revolutionizes, even the prequels revolutionized filming technology. You wouldn't have The Lord of the Rings if it weren't for the work that ILM had done on sort of that mix of practical CGI, because Weta went to ILM to ask for advice after the prequels were made. Or the first, I think, of the prequels was made. So, like, they've done a huge amount, and I think the overall story of the first 6 is certainly timeless. It's just it has a lot of lows as well. But yeah, Bagface, boo, Bagface, fuck you, you're wrong.
J-Mac,
J-Mac,
thank you so much for that $100 super chat, man. That's wild. Thank you.
Say some more, Bagface. Get a lot of money.
What's your opinion on other very famous?
What's RoboCop like?
I think Predator's dumb. RoboCop, I've only seen the clip that Cynic made me find for his video that I just put in, which is pretty cool. So I kind of want to watch RoboCop.
It's a great film. You'll appreciate me more.
Blade Runner's boring. I don't know why.
Which version of Blade Runner did you watch?
I've never watched the original. So
what do you think of Alien and Aliens?
I actually really like Alien and Aliens. I recently watched them before Romulus. But yeah, no, the what Star Wars did for film, I will always appreciate, and it's incredible. Technically, the first movie, I think it's like story-wise, it's like very watchable, yeah. But like, is it as good as everybody says it is? That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, it's not bad, but
people are asking for their money back.
Yeah. Though I do actually thoroughly enjoy this one, Psychic Girl for $2. Gotta hand it to Bagface. He is a master baiter.
Thank you.
I
play my role. Okay, I came here with a specific reason, and I have done that. And now I will sit back and enjoy myself.
What about Terminator?
I've only ever watched the shitty ones.
Why?
Well, what do you consider the shitty ones?
We'll talk more about Terminator.
By the time I got into Terminator, I'd watched so many videos of like how it's completely broken that I don't even want to go back and watch the originals, because I know.
But you've watched the ones that are broken. You've chosen to. It's like watching
I've only watched one.
Star Wars without watching the originals. It's like, I'm going to watch the ones that destroy everything without even understand what they're destroying.
I only watched the Christian Bale one because I thought it was funny that he freaked out on set. That's about it.
In fairness, I always say that there was some great ideas with Salvation, at least. The execution wasn't perfect at all.
It's the most tolerable of all the ones that came after T3, maybe even T2.
We will be getting into the new Terminator anime soon, but we do have a few more super chats that are relevant to this. So I say we go through those first before we move on.
I say when we give half the stream to the primary topic, we're good, because this show sucks ass. I've been talking about it for 4 fucking days.
Yeah. Well, would you like to read this super chat?
Yeah.
While you're at it?
TGB Monster for $10. Thank you, sir. Tolkien hated allegory, but Morgoth is the perfect symbol for Disney and Hollywood. They can't create, but only corrupt what was good, and what they did create were lesser horrible versions.
So the fun thing with that, because I'm doing this mammoth season 1 thing. And just to make it a little bit more mammoth, there's a mini essay in between each of the episode reviews. And by mini essay, for my standards, that's like most people's normal YouTube video standards, so like 20 minutes each. One of them is on the question of Tolkien and allegory, because I think people have taken what he did say and they've slightly inflated it to he hated allegory or he despised it. He didn't hate or despise it. I think he said he cordially disliked it. But if you go through his letters, he sort of develops the point a bit more, and he dislikes the use of allegory for a present tense, say, political comparison. So people who suggested to him that the ring was an allegory for the nuclear bomb, or that Saruman was just an allegory for industrialization and all those things. He didn't like those, but he did also say that, in a sense, to be true and to live a true life, you have to live an allegorical life. The only perfect allegory is the life we all live as being true, which is kind of tricky to square, hence the subject of the mini essay. But I think it stems from probably actually the Christian belief that, you were all living effectively in sub-creative terms under God's own creation. So to be allegorical in the best sense, you are portraying the truth. But if you're being allegorical for a very particular sense, then you are doing less than sub-creation. You're being very, very much more limited and also time limited in your application of allegory. So it's not quite as simple as he hated it, but it is also that he didn't like it in the way that most people use the term today.
There's a couple others from TGV Monster. He did gift a membership. Thank you for that. And here's another one from him. Reaper, would you like to read this one? I think that this is a good one for you.
Sorry, let me cough. TGV Monster for $5. But Morgoth wouldn't pick a chick in it, make her gay and lame. He most definitely would not approve of Mandela's so bored care about her discourse. Now, I read that like a retard, but I get the sentiment.
She's so bored, don't give a fuck about your discourse.
Or however it goes.
It's almost there, yeah.
Pretty close. Right?
Also for $2 from TGV Monster. Hi, Platoon, Cynic, Reaper, everybody but Dark Hour. And it's okay. It's fine. I know what it's like.
Do not send one with them.
Do not pay to say hi.
Yeah.
Dark Hour.
Let's see, what else do we got here? Oh, here's another one for. Okay. Greg, would you like to take this one?
All outside of this one, Middle Earth characters do you dislike most, and why them? I don't know that I'm well versed enough. I'm not well versed enough to answer this one. I started reading the Silmarillion a week or two ago, or I'm having it read to me by Andy Serkis, which is doing great. But I quit reading it before season 2 came out because I actually did not want to know what the lore should be, because I knew I just wanted to be entertaining and make jokes. And if I got too deep into it, I would start analyzing it too much, and that's not what I was about with the video. So I hate to say I don't know yet. I'm reading more though. I'm anxious to find out.
I'm kind of the same way. I'm not really super up on. I mean, I've seen the Lord of the Rings movies, but I don't know a lot of the deep lore. But so I'm doing the same thing. I'm just kind of making jokes as they come along. But I guess anybody who has a character that they dislike the most, who is it and why?
I think they dislike in the sense of I really don't think they should exist. Who was the elf they invented for the Hobbit movies, played by what's her name from Lost?
Oh, I forget, but I didn't like her either.
They just stuck her in there for the sole purpose of a love triangle that didn't need to be there.
Oh, yeah.
She was annoying. Dislike in terms of disliking them as people, but accepting they should be.
I don't like. I don't like Rings of Power in general, but that Adar character is really fucking useless, pointless.
He's got such potential, and that's so sad.
Yeah,
I like the second actor better than the first so far.
Yeah, the actor. So a lot of times in my videos, I change the names of characters, kind of like what Platoon does. And him, I didn't want to because I was really enjoying the actor himself, which is exactly what I did with Saul in Acolyte. So I guess that's just kind of a running gag that if I like the character, you get to keep your name. So
yeah.
I didn't read anything beyond, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. So was Sauron? He is not actually based in any lore, correct?
How do you mean?
The character of Adar, like he's not in.
Oh yeah, no, he's nowhere. The entire concept, the Rings of Power invents the concept of the Moriondor, which is what Adar is supposed to be. The Moriondor is supposed to be like the first orc, but the show invented that and can't quite decide what it means by it. So simultaneously, he is an elf when the show wants him to be an elf. He's an orc when the show wants him to be an orc. But he completely breaks the entire way evil operates in Middle Earth because he has so much power and agency that it actually strips away what is supposed to be the power and agency of the will, which Morgoth and Sauron both control. So he shouldn't exist and doesn't exist in the lore, and the concept isn't there either.
See, the impression that I got from it was that he was one of the first corrupted elves, and then they used him to form the orcs, which is why they call him father. That's where I thought they were going with it, and that's why he like felt for them because he was the first Uruk or something. I thought that's what they were doing, but
yeah, that is what they were aiming
like everything
for.
else. They bring up ideas, and then they're like, "Yeah, no, we don't want to do that ever again." But we'll use screen time to explore that for 5 minutes, but then we won't ever talk about it again.
Yeah, that's definitely what they were aiming for, and then it gets confused as well because Galadriel, being the hero that she is, understanding that that's what he is, threatens to torture all of his children and make him watch and then kill him last because that's what heroes do. But it's an interesting concept. It just doesn't really belong in this world because once you like accept that as the premise, and the orcs can actually pick and choose their leaders depending on who is nicest to them, it means that either Sauron has to just purge every single orc in existence because they've already betrayed him once, or it just has to kind of forget about the concept it's created to make later things happen. And obviously, like the orcs now have been changed quite drastically. You've got the little lovely orc families and the orc children, and they really don't want to have to go to war again because they're basically just good human beings if you're not mean to them, and that's fucking broken.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we can see them killing people at the very beginning of the episode, where he goes, submit to Adar or die. And then next thing you know, they've got lovely families, and it's just such a contradiction.
Yeah.
It's a very appropriate time for that super chat that I just clicked on. So for that's pounds, right? That's £2.
That is euros.
Oh, euros, sorry. So €2. So orcs are Palestinians in Rings of Power season 2. I don't know.
I am not touching that one with a barge pole.
You don't want to open that can of worms, Platoon? Are you sure?
Look, I had to highlight it at some point, okay? Just like I have to highlight this one. Where is it? That I actually specifically asked about backstage because I just didn't know how I felt about it. But I can't.
But then that makes the Galadriel torturing Adar scene make a lot more sense. She's threatening them with doing stuff.
Bagface, you have to read this one because it's about you. And I don't want to touch
Swap the B and the F in Bagface. You brought this on yourself. Oh, I've already done that to myself. I can't. Oh, even if you're gay, you can't say that on YouTube. It's not. It's not like TV.
Unfortunately, there is no special button in the algorithm that I can press that makes it just automatically accept it.
What else do we have?
In video games, like in Call of Duty, when you're playing online now, they actually have AI listen to your chat, and if you say something wrong, you will be chat banned. But it's incredibly what they don't even realize is they racially profile people because I could get banned for saying the N-word, but it profiles the people to identify if they're black and saying it.
That's how it should be.
Amazing. Why don't you just call yourself black? Everyone should just register as black, and then everyone.
No, that's what's funny is it's like, oh, that guy has a black voice; he can say it. Like that's
so everyone's just got to learn how to.
Everyone's
just got to get that accent right.
I mean, that's pretty much what being. That's what being trans is, right? It's just like white people's "I'm black" card. Like, oh, I'm oppressed. I'm trans.
Kind of, yeah. Or there's at least like non-binary or something which doesn't have any kind of actual commitment to it. Yeah.
Surely in today's age, you can just identify as black and it'd be fine.
Well, you can on YouTube's now doing that thing. It did it months ago on my second channel, and it's now started doing it on my main channel, where it's asking me to voluntarily input my demographic details. It ensures you that it won't be used to impact video performance, but if you actually read the terms, it basically says that it can be used to impact video performance. So on my second channel, I am black, disabled. I think I come from the Caribbean. I'm definitely gay and also trans. And actually, the first few videos after I said that, they did do very well. So who knows? Maybe it is a real thing.
I get that. And it says, we want to know about you so we can make YouTube more fair. And I'm like, absolutely not.
I ignore that.
It's already a meritocracy.
It's because if you put a black person on your thumbnail, your video gets less traffic.
I mean,
it does. There's like a few videos on it on YouTube that I watched, and I was like, that's pretty funny. I mean, it makes sense because everyone's a little racist.
Anime reviews. Every anime review is a black guy.
Yeah, we took over that shit.
That is everyone.
AJ Hawk's Toxic Finger for $2. Orc lives matter. The humans are taking their gerbs.
The gerbs.
Took her gerbs.
I remember that in season 1.
Oh, God, yeah.
Elves don't hire. They're going to take our shitty fisher jobs. And you go, why? They're thousands of years old.
And also, you haven't let them into your city for hundreds of years. Where are these immigrant workers that you're so scared of? They don't fucking exist. Like, no one's coming to take your jobs.
This one is... Most of them are actually about Rings of Power, so we're gonna be going through almost all of them. Who hasn't done one in a while? I guess we're back to Cynic, I guess.
Sure. Jeremy Soden for $10. Thank you, sir. I don't know where those dollars are from, so everything's just dollars or ass. Rings of Power,
the original currency.
Rings of Power is an illiterate 13-year-old fanfic. The Acolyte is a wannabe intellectual 17-year-old's fanfic, a bit more sophisticated but morally less forgivable. Yeah.
Take away fan, because none of these people are.
Fair enough. Yeah. It is fiction, though. There's certainly not fucking related to the real deal.
Okay, so this one, I have no idea what this currency is.
Everything,
a squiggle.
Everything is non-US dollars. That's the beauty of living in America. That's why we named our measuring system standard, and everything else is international. We don't.
Everything else is fucking weird.
You also call one of your sports the World Series, and you're the only country that plays it.
That's not true.
That makes sense, right?
No, there's a Canadian team in it. There's one Canadian team.
That's true. We're North America. Like, we do include Canada in some of our...
America. Seriously, does anybody know what this guy is?
I know international people. Don't worry.
No, I have no idea what this currency is actually.
AA, please tell us what the currency is. I'll read it out, but I can't actually give you
credit.
For
some amount of money.
For some amount of money.
Rupees? I think chat said rupees.
All right. Well, for 100 rupees.
What the fuck?
Sure, let's just go with that. The game's Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, non-canon, gave better character of Celebrimbor, but the show gave us crying grandma. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the squiggles.
Yeah, thank you for whatever that was.
Squiggles legal tender.
Let's see what else.
Someone on FNT said that that Celebrimbor looks like Mrs. Doubtfire, and actually, kind of, yeah, I can see that.
One of my favorite super chatterers in all of the YouTube sphere, Waylon Bacifus, Rings of Power or Bucket of AIDS for $1.99.
Sheesh. Well, since Rings of Power wasn't the worst thing I've watched recently, I'm gonna have to go with that.
What was?
The Acolyte, for sure.
I don't know. I found the Acolyte like worse from a writing perspective, but I found it entertaining for the, like I said, backstage, for the memeability of everything. So I raise it up because of that. All the ridiculousness that surrounded it was just so fun to be part of.
It's hard to say if it's worse objectively because I've read all the interviews, so I know what the showrunner thinks about, like why she asked the VR department to add extra veins to the hand to make it look more dick-like while she was holding the lightsaber. Like, I know those things now, which makes the Acolyte so much worse. So that's real. That's very
real. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah. Dick fingers.
So
dick fingers on a lightsaber.
Well, specifically, it's when the lightsaber smashes on the rock and you look inside it, and everyone apparently behind the scenes read that as, we are looking inside a penis, and so we need more veins in the arm to make it look more like a penis. So if you ever wondered what the inside of a penis looks like, there's a gemstone in there and it glows.
You need a magnifying glass. How are you going to look inside a cock ring? A cock fucking hole, whatever you call it.
Leslie Headland, she's apparently done it. Even though she's a lesbian, apparently she's an expert on looking inside of penises.
Well, yeah, Harvey Weinstein's assistants have,
They're busy, I'm sure they were.
Yeah, he was just having her. He was like, hey, can you just check in there and make sure I'm good? But this one's actually kind of pseudo-related to the what we were just talking about. So, Platoon, you want to do it?
I can. M8-566 for $5. Disney Star Wars does more damage because it is technically canon. Rings of Power is just an adaptation. Only the books are canon for The Lord of the Rings. I think that's broadly true. And also, The Acolyte packs more in because it's half-hour episodes as opposed to hour-long episodes. So, like, it has to move at I say it moves at a faster pace. It's still really fucking slow, but, like, there's less very long, awkward pauses where nothing happens.
Well, I think that they couldn't touch the original trilogy because Warner Brothers have a lot of rights. They fucking would if they could. They would rape Aragorn if they could.
They
would rape him.
Who wouldn't?
And then in the
like a Zack Snyder movie. Like, I'd have Batman raped in my movie.
It is. It's Zack Snyder.
Films, Comics, Explain. This one's from your neck of the woods, so why don't you take it?
Christina Rose for $15 ass dollars. Also, when the Rings of Power Galadriel smiling is so creepy. I can't stand this show. It's terrible. Horrible, sorry.
Either or works.
She's so badly casted. She looks like a rat.
Awful. Yeah, she says every line through her fucking teeth.
Yeah, well, that's just when she's angry. Just as far you know that she's
always angry.
Are we acting like we all would Galadriel? Would not?
Would.
Are you serious? If she walked up to you in a bar and she was like, bathroom 5 minutes, you'd be like, no.
No, Morphin Clark
thanks.
is Morphin Clark is a person for with someone with no options. So that's absurd. Absolutely not.
AA has confirmed it's Indian rupees and he paid to do so. You could have just did that in the
right.
You didn't have to pay to confirm what the currency
No, you
was.
need to double confirm it. Pay again.
Thank you again.
Morphin Clark's I'm going back to this. Morphin Clark's the end of the night fucking find something please situation.
Any port in a storm is what you're going for?
Well, yeah, I'm not buying her dinner or anything, but I'm not going to say no.
She's a Welsh
you'd have to triple, quadruple the condoms you wear.
Increases breakage possibility actually from friction. Terrible idea.
Tell us.
That sounds like an interesting story. You know that. That's some history behind that.
Absolutely,
mistakes have been made in my life.
Well, it's against common knowledge, but
Speaking of which, let's see. Floral from Under the Rock for $5 Canadian. Actually, you know what? Backface, you're from Canada. Why don't you take this one?
Wow, I see how it is.
I mean, I'm trying to give them to people. I figure that you can relate better.
No, that's like $1.50 American. This is big bucks in Canada. You can literally sing shot for shot the power of 1, 2, and many with Disa singing Under the Mountain, season 3, episode 2, and it's the same musical key and tempo. I wouldn't be surprised if it's written by the same shitty person because that shit sucks.
Yeah, the odds are high because Hollywood's so incestuous. So
now I'm gonna have to go and try and do that.
Yeah,
aren't I?
No, I wrote a rock and roll cover of The Power of One, The Power of Two, The Power of Many. So it's in one of my videos. You should go check it.
Larry for $5. If Tolkien had been crass enough to describe orc breeding, they would probably keep the females enslaved for service the whole clan. He wasn't crass, so yeah. I mean, that's. Sorry, that one. I was slowly expecting that one to get way worse as I was reading it. So I was like preparing myself as I was going along.
Did
I'm
he
surprised
not
Larry
touch on
didn't
that?
make us look.
He did. So he confirmed that orcs do breed like all the other children of Iluvatar. So they do have sex. But people online have taken from we have sex to therefore we have nice, happy families and we're actually nice people, which is categorically not what any of the interpretations of the orcs were. And there were many different origin stories for the orcs, but in none of them are they nice.
I would also like to point out that Cynic was incorrect and Larry did make us look.
He did make us look. And Dave, no, we were just trying to get through some super chats that are actually related to the topic. I know we're changing it up a little bit. We normally save them for the end, but we're just trying something new and trying to address them.
That way they're not.
In.
Yeah, that way they're not. It's not rehashing the same topic again, but they keep coming in, so it's actually becoming.
So is it confirmed? So is it confirmed that orcs struggle snuggle?
Kind of, yeah, I think.
Somebody take it.
Taker 610 for $5. Thank you, sir. There's posters all over Mordor of Sauron dressed as Uncle Sam saying, Sauron wants you. Ask not what Mordor can do for you.
But what you can
Thank
do
you,
for your
Taker.
Let's see. Do we have any more left for this topic before we move on? Yes.
Larry again. I'll cover this one. Larry's my favorite super chatter because he always makes us look. Larry for $5 more. Tolkien character to hate. Is it Caligorm? Is that right?
I believe so.
Yes.
He was such a dick. The Han most faithful dog in all of Arda left him.
I'm sorry. If you're going to read it, you need to roll that R in there.
I cannot. Don't remind me of my fucking Spanish teacher yelling at me, please.
Well, then actually, Cynic, you should probably take this one. Where is it? I just saw it a
Jesus.
second ago. It's
Here we go.
Oh, I gotta find it. Hold on. Did I lose it? Oh no, here it is. Go ahead, give it a shot.
M8566 for $5. Hail, see, I can do I could probably speak German. Hail to your guest, Niet Bagface, Greg
Owen.
You know what I do? I just do this.
Reaper.
Greg Owen, Dark Hour, and Reaper.
Yeah, try just doing this while you're talking, you know?
That's
Greg,
the only way I can do
Hour.
it. Greg Owen. There we go.
Let's see.
Man, I kind of feel bad for your girlfriend, man. You got no tongue skills over here. God damn.
That may have been all of the ones that were related to Rings of Power. I'll keep scrolling through quick. I guess this one.
He's a very selfish lover.
Yes. Just a selfish man. So I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
This one's pseudo related. It says mention Rings of Power, but it's not. So here, actually, you know what? I want Reaper to read this one because the way he says lesbian witches is fantastic.
TGV Monster for $5. Wondering what is worst, Acolyte or Rings of Power? Is like comparing Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer, but both shows have lesbian witches. I'd say Rings of Power is more boring.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's longer.
Yeah.
It's like being on death row for an extra 7 years.
I think that was the biggest sin of Rings of Power, honestly, is that it's this epic tale. And I was exhausted. I was so bored. Were we live?
This person wants me to be gay so bad, I swear to God. This person wants me to be gay. He wants to ask me out on a date.
So we have a couple more that are sort of like Rings of Power adjacent, but they're probably better for later in the stream because they're not quite about the actual plot of it or anything. So I guess we can move on.
An hour and a half contributed to Rings of Power. Jesus.
Oh, so yeah. So next, I guess
that's a light lunch.
We did mention the Terminator 0, so I guess we could. That's the one I forgot to get a slide for. So, yeah. But So, has everybody on the panel seen Terminator 0? I've watched 2 episodes. I said that was probably about what we were going to cover. So.
I watched one right before the show. I've been super busy, but I was able to catch one. It is, I don't know. It did its job. I want to watch the next episode. So. Yeah, but I mean, it's only 28-minute episodes so far, so I can't give too much feedback.
The first 2 episodes are kind of I almost feel like that should have been 1 hour long because it sort of takes the two. I mean, it's not like you don't know what's going on with Terminator. The second episode covers more of the time travel, and then kind of the woman from the beginning of the very first episode. She's the one that goes back in time. So that's kind of the second episode. Is they're sort of a pair, and I've only watched the 2 also, but yeah, it was something that I found interesting. I don't think I have time to watch all of it, but it was pretty good.
I have seen all of it.
So
and by seeing all of it, I mean I've had all of it on, and I did watch most of it. And it's simultaneously probably the most interesting Terminator has been since probably T2 actually. But I don't really see where all of the massive praise for it's coming from. I think it does curious things with the time travel premise. It tries to actually solve the problems of time travel that Terminator has introduced previously. It actually gives us in text an actual explanation for how the time travel mechanics in Terminator work. Now that's kind of welcome, but it also does kind of break quite a lot in the way that even Genesis didn't go that far with. So without spoilers, the way in which time travel is now confirmed to work is that every time you go back in time, you go back to a different past and you create a different future. So you are not going back and branching off a new timeline. You are going to a new timeline simply by the act of going back in time. And what that means is that John Connor is not the savior and never was the savior. because every time anybody goes back in time, there's a new one. And that makes sense, but I can see some people being a little bit annoyed at, yet again, John Connor being sidelined in the franchise that he really helped create. And it also creates problems for Terminator Zero in its own story. And again, without going into too many spoilers, if the premise is that every time you go back, you create a new past and a new future, then by definition, the future can't be predictable. You can't rely on later events panning out because you have created a brand new timeline in which you've changed everything. And yet, when you get to the end of Terminator Zero, most of the important characters make pivotal decisions because they are predicting where events will go. So just to take a vague example, which is not necessarily one from the show itself, I go back and I meet a younger version of my mother, for example. And I say, well, in 30 years' time, you will have a kid. And I will make a decision to ensure that that will happen. And I will reassure you that that is what will happen to your life. But by the mechanics that Terminator Zero sets out, I can't possibly know that. So if I were to make that decision, it would make no sense because by definition, I've changed the past. So we have no way of knowing what she will choose to do in the future. And I think that actually creates some problems because this is very, very firmly setting itself up for a season 2 at the very least. And it does some really interesting things. I don't want to shit on it completely. I would like to see where they take it. But by setting itself up in that way with this kind of deterministic thing having undermined the concept of determinism in the first place, I don't think it's particularly coherent. And then there are a few other problems with the fact that the narrative is so very dispersed. There are so many characters sort of flitting around doing independent things. It does make the story seem a little bit unfocused at times. I do like a lot of what they try and do with it, and it is thoughtful. It's just I don't think it's necessarily followed its own thoughts through to conclusion.
Well, there's also why bother going back in time if you're just going to go to another reality?
Yeah,
because you're not sick. Because that was I can't remember her name. The main woman. She goes back. I was like, well, why are you going back? Because that's might as well be a different universe.
Well, it is. Her future's pretty much forfeit by that stage. All of her people are dead. I didn't mind the show. I thought that it sort of felt like a Japanese remake of the original film with a bit of T2 mixed in. We've got like a chase between two warriors from the future, a parent who's obsessed with like preventing doomsday, which strains their relationship with their children, and a lot of bloodshed. I sort of felt like we could have done without the middle episodes. Episode 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were enough. The middle episodes sort of drag. The characters go on their own sort of journeys. Nothing really of substance happens. I did appreciate, like Platoon, how it tried to tie in every timeline by saying everything is canon, but at the same time it disregards everything that's come before, which makes that whole point sort of moot. It's less profound than it thinks it is, because it tries to veer into this exploration of morality and philosophy, but everything is very superficial. It's very surface level. The dialogue between the humans and the cyborgs touches on survival, but doesn't really explore any deeper implications. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit torn because Go on, Platoon.
I was saying it's one of the most frustrating, I think, things about I think it was episodes 2 through even 5, maybe even 6. Like, it's quite a long chunk of it taken up. The premise, and this isn't a spoiler because it is just the premise of the show, is that in this timeline they have gone back to, a guy has created a rival AI force to Skynet. It's called, is it Koroku? Is that the name I think it's called?
Kokoro.
Kokoro, even, yeah. And so this thing he has created, because he sees Skynet coming, he sees Judgment Day coming, and he's created this AI to attempt to forestall it. But for about 4, if not 5 episodes, he's locked in the room with it. And I can see what they were doing, and it's an interesting premise, having this pivotal character removed from the actual drama and discussing effectively the meta-morality of the thing. Is anything worth doing? But I'm pretty sure in chat you can already guess what the substance of the conversation is. If I tell you that there's an AI talking to a guy about saving humanity and he has to convince it of something, obviously that entire conversation is going to be, oh, is humanity even worth saving? Haven't we destroyed the world? Aren't we mean to animals? And the AI, and the AI is like, oh, you're a virus and all you do is war. And he can't, because the show doesn't really, like you say, it's not as profound as it thinks it is. He doesn't have any answers for that. So whenever it says something which is highly contestable and incredibly generic and cliche, he just says, yes, you're right. I guess we'll have to hope. We'll have to hope that something comes up that changes your mind. But you're right, humanity's fucking shit.
Yeah, there's like loads of answers you can find. Sorry, it's like, because he just says, like, you're destroying the world. You go, but the world's just a lump of shitty rock. Who gives a fuck? There's the life on it that's important. Like, just basic stuff like that. He doesn't even say.
Yeah, like what's the point of?
What's the point?
The planet, the planet is useless if it has no life on it. But then he's arguing with a machine. It would be like, well, then what am I? That starts to create the whole artificial intelligence. Is it actually a live concept? Which it is, because as we can tell, Little Platoon is here, so we do know that it is living.
One of the questions is literally, well, it's almost literally, I can't remember the precise wording, but it's to the effect of, can you name me one invention in all of human history that has improved things for life on Earth? And the guy's like, no, I can't. I was like, for fuck's, what? How? No, what? That's just so fucking like undergraduate nihilistic bullshit.
That response was a bit bizarre, because in the previous episode, he goes on to list all the great things that humanity has done and all the things that we're capable of. But when he's faced with that question, he doesn't have an answer. And ultimately, he sort of resorts to manipulating it by saying, well, I don't want to sort of spoil anything for people who are keen on watching the show, but his answer sort of resorts to him saying, well, I don't know. I'm going to basically spoil it if I say this, so maybe I shouldn't.
Do it.
Well, his answer to why humanity should be saved is basically, well, you're the product of, I'm your parent, basically. You're half human, half AI, so that's why you should save it. So, yeah, and I thought that was really underwhelming. I
will say as well, like we are slightly concerned about spoilers, but we're arguably more concerned with them than the show is, because there are a couple of very big twists that are very apparent from basically the first time you see the people involved in them. So I saw the two in particular, and I won't name exactly what they are. One person turns out to be, actually, well, both of them turn out to be not what they seem. And in episode 1, I thought, okay, I know where you've come from, and I know what you are. I know where this is going. It's quite clear. And eventually it happens, and it's like, oh, that as an idea, it's not bad. It's just that it lacks the subtlety to actually make that much of a reveal, because it's very open-handed with what its secrets are. But having sort of shit on it for all those reasons, I do want to praise it for the things it does really well. It does create more interesting moral and ethical questions, for example, come toward the end. Once it's got over the whole stupid teenage nihilism thing and starts actually dealing with the practicalities of what stopping Skynet entails, and the characters who are making these decisions are not necessarily the characters you would expect to be making these decisions. I like what it does with, well, is stopping Skynet worth it if it means, like a war with another AI? Is that actually potentially a worse outcome? Or is it worth it if we have to live under this seemingly benevolent tyranny of an alternate system? All of that stuff's really good, and you can do fascinating things with it. And it is what makes it more interesting a proposition than any other Terminator film post 2. It's just that I would really like to have seen it be more competent, like taking these very interesting premises, ditching the less interesting ones, spending more time on these, and actually delivering what it promised to deliver, which it doesn't quite do for all I like some of what it does.
Just hold that thought, because we have to see Bagface out.
We're kicking him out.
Yeah, the human hot take machine himself has got to go. So
the normie.
But there is actually 2 super chats that are related to you that I would like you to at least be here for.
Word.
Not you actually. This one, nice and short. Spelled your name wrong, so that's Baje Face. Buy some taste.
Beige face.
Beige face. Which kind of works. And then this one.
Tell Cynic to pay me more, and I will do that.
I think that's specifically that was the $2. If you get him those $2, Cynic, and
that does the trick.
That does the trick. And from J Mac for $50.
Damn.
No hate on Bagface. Heart emoji. Woo. He reminds me of one of my buddies who I argue with all the time about movies. My wife as well is more interested in the superficiality of in movies, cinematography, acting, special effects. Everyone consumes entertainment differently. He's saying that you're like his wife, so that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, your wife's
Let's go.
Married the wrong woman.
I also
the one where he said "boo, bagface, boo," he spent more on. So I think the canon is still that he hates you.
That's fair. I'll take it. I wouldn't call cinematography superficial, because I bet you most of you could not pick out a fucking lens in a shot if I gave you
well, by
$100.
definition it's superficial because it's the surface what we're seeing.
Oh
So
yeah, I
by
guess
definition,
in that sense, yes. But no, I just enjoy other things other than
Craft.
Yeah, I enjoy the crap and I enjoy good stuff. And I think that's okay, because you can't spend your whole life just eating veggies, you know? Sometimes you want some McDonald's, and that's okay. It's okay.
I'm American. I can agree with that.
This is like this isn't McDonald's. This is like a baby turd rotting in a nappy. This is
after it consumed McDonald's.
So it smells like McDonald's. That's what I'm saying.
Before you leave though, Bagface, you were really, I mean, you were raking in the super chats. Real quick before you go, could you just give us a hot take on like Jesus? How do you feel about Jesus or like, the Buddha or anything? Could you just go ahead and tell us something about that?
I am Jesus. I don't know if anybody's religious, but you're welcome.
What do you think about the Prophet Muhammad?
Yeah.
He was based. He was the only prophet, and I'm not really a prophet because I'm Jesus.
Moses or Muhammad? Let's get into that one. Which one?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, throw those out.
Who would win in a fight?
Triple threat match. Jesus.
Well,
Moses,
right now
Muhammad.
I think Moses is winning. I think Moses.
I feel like South Park has done that.
I mean, if it was like pro wrestling rules and like whoever's getting the most cheers for a long time, Jesus was winning. But Muhammad's coming up, man. He's coming up. There's the groups.
You.
But then you got, you know,
thanks for having me on
Royal Rumble, because you have Krishna plus Krishna plus Krishna plus Krishna. Like they would just come from everywhere. It'd be awesome.
And then we got to bring in Greek gods, and like Hercules is always hot.
Yeah, now we got like Zeus and Shiva and all sorts of other deities from everywhere. So
yeah, but like Buddha is a fat fuck, and he tells people to be self-disciplined. When look at you, don't want to die. Like, what's he eating in Asia? How do you get that fat?
I want to.
Rice. Everyone is starving while Buddha's shoving his fat face.
I mean, if Platoon wants to start like a like a poll with all the deities, and we could just get like a Royal Rumble style poll of everybody voting for deities.
Yeah. It's just the Super Best Friends episode of South Park again. Yeah, we could actually run that in. We
that means
on
we need...
EFAP, the thing with the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny with all the fictional characters, but we could just do it with gods and prophets and stuff. That could be fun.
And Seaman.
Yeah, Backbase. You should watch RoboCop. By the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Probably not tonight because I've been editing for a long time straight.
He has.
I have. So I'm gonna go to the gym and try and look like Dark Hour. That is my plan.
Hey,
bro,
here up, I'm pretty
himself.
good. From the like the ribs to the waist. That's got a dad bod in it a little bit. So.
Bagface is video editor galore, and so even when he disagrees with me and probably hates listening to my opinions about it, he is a damn good sport and makes my videos way fucking better. So
it's like Bagface is just sitting there and he's just like, I'm getting paid for it. I'm getting paid
you know
for
what?
it. I will
paid.
not.
No, there's a few in the newest video. You guys should definitely go watch it because you'll see my literal face. I put myself in your video.
He went so above and beyond. Like he actually fucking recorded it just so that because I imitate characters a lot in this video, and so to make the lips move, he actually just fucking like read my script and put it over. It's incredible.
And there's a couple jokes in there. So like, I love Cynic. I think he's funny. We disagree. That shit happens. You know, we're homies. That happens. But there's a couple times where I literally call him an angry old man in his own video.
And that's
pretty
fine.
funny.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I can take it.
I try to do it with humor, but I'm not funny, so it just lands. Anyway,
dang, the gym gets rid of melanin nowadays.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna turn him into Bro Jogan.
Let's go. All right, I love you guys.
All right, man. Love you too.
Good luck talking about things that I don't understand. And
we only got
thanks
a
for not
couple
destroying me.
Dude, our chat's pretty cool. They're pretty chill.
Chat's good today. Chat's good. Good to see you guys.
Nice to meet you, back.
Peace.
So on the topic of Terminator Zero. Like, admittedly, it is a low bar, but I did think this is one of the better things after Terminator 2. Visually, I thought the series was brilliant. Production IG, who've made cyberpunk dystopian works like Ghost in the Shell and Psycho Pass, have made a stunning anime, like some inventive action sequences and like really intense visceral violence. I really appreciated the soundtrack. The reason we're criticizing it is it just had the potential to be so much better. So yeah.
Yeah, it does feel a little bare bones at times. Go ahead, Raper.
I was just going to say, it tries to juggle too much, I think, and not fully explore. As Little Platoon said, it doesn't fully flesh out the interesting ideas it proposes. And I hate the kids.
Oh, that's where I was going next. You and me were talking about it backstage. The one kid, what the hell?
Wants to disassemble everything.
Kenta? Is that his name?
Kenta, yeah.
Yeah, I was rooting for Judgment Day to happen. Just so he could not exist.
Very important and very prominent at the end of the show. So you'll probably hate him less.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So what Kenta's character is, I feel like, is the closest the writers come to showcasing the darker aspects of humanity, especially while Malcolm is trying to prove that humanity is worth saving, because he's fiercely anti-robot and he's a really volatile character, which I appreciated. But the show never fully explores how discovering a significant thing about his nanny might challenge his beliefs. It just sort of, asks whether humanity deserves to survive, but stops short of engaging with it, with the character of Kenta.
So Jay Jameson points out that Ghost in the Shell hits a really interesting idea of AI motivations, at least. Yeah. And that was something that we kind of touched on backstage, is like right off the bat in the Ghost in the Shell film. Obviously, the anime spins off of that, but the original film hits you with a lot of that stuff right up front. You know, the morality of AI, how it can be used in corruption with humans. The one character gets his brain completely rewired, so he has different thought processes and different memories. It definitely goes deeper into the themes in a shorter amount of time than this goes. At least I haven't finished it yet, but it seems from everything that everybody's saying, it doesn't explore it nearly as much as Ghost in the Shell does.
And it gets confused when it tries. That's the Ghost in the Shell is legitimately, I mean, it's one of my favorite things to watch ever. And even Standalone Complex, which is not as deep, but it still touches quite concisely on some very, very interesting themes and does a reasonably good job with them. Comparing the two, Terminator Zero does not come out looking good, because it's one of these has a philosophy that it wants to explore, and the other one has a set of tropes that it wants to explore, and that's not the same thing. When you've actually spent a lot of time thinking these things through, as Ghost in the Shell has done, and of course it has the manga to draw on as well, the whole thing seems way more coherent in every conceivable way. The characters are more coherent because they're interacting with a fully fleshed out theme, and the theme is very, very well evoked by the world building, which is all created to service the questions it knows that it's asking. And it has an idea of what it wants the answer to be. Terminator Zero, it gets about halfway there at most, I would say. It's more satisfying toward the end, but then the end is also the bit that breaks the stuff that it was starting to set up. So it's quite incoherent if you compare it to anything that's, well, coherent.
There was a few things I wasn't a fan of in the early episodes, like Aiko being able to kick the Terminator without breaking her leg, and her being able to like push him several meters into an elevator shaft, when we know these things like weigh a ton and have a metal endoskeleton. But I wonder, I pose this question to you guys, if issues like this can be more forgivable in anime due to the different expectations and some of the stylistic liberties associated with the medium.
Yeah, that's what I was. When I first saw it, there was a few things like she runs up the truck and jumps off onto the bridge, and I was like, this is goofy, but it's like an anime style. So there was a lot of it that I just sort of let go. Like their very first fight scene where the Terminator is shooting at her with a minigun and doesn't hit her at all, and I was like, that's kind of dumb looking.
Pissed me off.
But it's an anime, so I tend to write a few of those things. Some of them got a little egregious, but I tended to just kind of let them go because it is, they're trying to channel like an Aeon Flux kind of look and feel. So
anime has this tendency to overutilize the rule of cool in hand waving things away, and I feel it's one of the. I feel even I like a lot of us would kind of give into that, only because we're so used to it with it. I'm definitely gonna finish this. I did like some of this, but some of those things that you're saying that I'm picking up on already, where I'm like, it's in an established universe, and you're kind of bending the rules that that universe already has to match your style rather than matching the style to the rules. And I wish they would have kind of went the other way and been a little bit more faithful to what Terminator has already established in terms of how the machines overpower and all these things with humans and such.
In a sense, you could make the argument that actually Terminator 2 is the thing that breaks time travel for Terminator. Because Terminator 2 creates the paradox, which is actually not solvable, really, unless you do go with the explanation that Terminator 0 has actually given us now as official. It has to have been a many worlds thing. It can't not be that. Because as soon as you have it that you avert the event that gives rise to the person who averts the event, then you've created an insolvable paradox, and then it's just a flat-out contradiction. So they kind of had to solve the problem in that way. My problem with it is twofold. It is firstly that, yeah, they do that it's now officially that John Connor is one amongst many, many saviors, which I find slightly unsatisfying. But the main problem with it narratively is that it just doesn't accept its own statement as being true. It contradicts its own approach to this problem. And that's what I have an issue with more than anything else, really. If you're going to elaborate a rule like that, then your characters and your show itself has to understand the rule you've just elaborated. Because otherwise you sit there thinking, you've just explained this to me, but everyone's acting as though that's not true. Even the people who explained it and who understand it to be true are acting as though it isn't true. And that's just an unnecessary flaw. I think it's frustrating.
Yeah, it sort of breaks its continuity by showing that three people from two different alternate timelines come back to the same present, which shouldn't be possible based on what we learn from this from the show.
Well, originally the original Terminator film was supposed to be a closed loop. There's a deleted scene that actually makes it a closed loop, and I to this day say that if they would have put that in, it's basically a perfect film. In terms of narrative flow, at least, where you find out that, I mean, they eventually use it in Terminator 2 that the factory at the end is Cyberdyne Systems, but they find the chip and all that, and they zoom out, show it's Cyberdyne, so it's like, okay, now it all makes sense. That's how it all happened. And Platoon's absolutely right. T2 not only breaks on that, it breaks the time travel rules of the organic matter needs to be required to create the living field living field generation, all that stuff, by having the T1000 go back, which doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of things that it does, and I would argue what I was saying about rule of cool before also applies to T2, in that it's just such a fun movie, and it was so over the top and bombastic, and like pretty much the everyone points to it as like the action film that almost pretty much universally everybody ignores the problems in it. And I think that's kind of what they were hoping for with this as well.
So I'd actually like to see, it's called the Novikov self-consistency principle, this idea of the closed time-like loop, where you go back in time and you cannot do anything which would preclude the events which see you go back in time, which is sort of what T1 operates by. I'd really like to see anything lean into that properly, because that's a really interesting idea. If you go back in time, you know what the future has to be, but you don't know what actions you take to get to that future. You still have immense dramatic potential there. Ultimately, the lesson is that you can't do anything which precludes yourself going back in time. But it's still a huge amount of unknowable things, because the question of free will comes up in that situation. Does free will even exist? Can free will exist under a self-consistency principle? And the answer is pretty much exactly no. You can't have free will. You can have the illusion of it. You can't actually do things which would fundamentally alter the future, which you're now going back in time from. The problem with the alternate approach, which Terminator 0 takes, and I think it's going to be even more problematic the more you think about it, because as you were speaking, I was thinking more about it. The theory they operate by is that every time you go back, as mentioned, you create a new timeline completely from scratch. But then, in which case, does that not also apply when you send a Terminator back? If you send a person back and they create a new timeline completely from start to finish, then you send the Terminator back after that person, that Terminator can't logically have gone back to the same timeline that the person went back to, because it creates a new one from start to finish. So that also then starts to fall apart. And then T0 also introduces this idea that time travel machines are not that hard to make, because the guy makes them.
One.
Yeah, and if you go back, and every time you go back, you go to a new timeline, A, why does every timeline seem to end with Judgment Day? And B, why doesn't everyone just go back through that machine? Because everyone then creates a new timeline and they can live in a 1,000 billion different combinations that might end up solving the problem or reversing the problem completely. So I think, yeah, it's probably a bit more broken than I initially thought.
I think the movie Predestination does time travel the best. It's with Ethan Hawke and Sarah Snook. It operates on the concept of a closed time loop where all events are predestined to occur, and like every action taken by the characters to change the past or the future ends up causing the event they're trying to prevent or alter to actually happen. So this Terminator series should have just ended with Terminator 1. I think that's the consensus here.
Yeah, it's weird because it's pretty much Terminator and Terminator 2 are two of my top 10 all-time films. And I often go back and forth on which one I enjoy more, and it always comes down to that same argument as to, when I strip it down, all of the awesome action sequences, the great special effects that still hold up to this day, there's fundamental flaws in the plot and narrative of Terminator 2 that, at me as an adult, like knowing that that's a thing, I still have trouble getting around. But so it takes all the flaws visually from the first one and makes that not as big of a deal because it's a much more condensed, solid, and complete narrative.
Yeah, but he does a thumbs up.
The thumbs up is definitely still gets me to this day. It hits you right in the cockles of the heart. So it's
time travel doesn't make any sense, but he does a fucking cool thumbs up at the end.
I like the idea that the thumbs up is like the anchor thing of the entire universe. It has to happen in every universe in the Terminator. Someone has to do a thumbs up.
It's the nexus point is the thumbs up.
What did we did anyone have any strong opinions on the Terminator itself? It's voiced by in the English version anyway, it's Timothy Olyphant, isn't it, who's doing the voice of the Terminator.
He barely speaks as well.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think I personally like when the Terminators are a bit less vocal. It gives them a menacing factor. So especially if they're supposed to be the villain, I should say.
Well, he only speaks when it's practical.
Yeah.
Like when he's got the boy and he wants him to do things.
Yeah, and because by the end he's not entirely recontextualized, but he's not a straight villain by the end, which is one of the more interesting things I think I would have liked to see the show do more of, is this idea that actually this is not about an obviously singular evil bad outcome future which we must avoid. It is a question of trade-offs, and actually there are reasons the Terminator is there which have nothing to do with wanting villains to win by the end of it, which is an interesting concept. There's a moral choice which is presented at the end by its involvement, but it comes very late, and it's really not. I think they'll do more with that in season 2 if it gets one. It's just that's what's interesting about the show. That's the unique angle it has. I think it faffing about too much with time travel, with moral debates that aren't moral debates, sort of distracted from the genuinely new things it was doing.
This is a great comment from Kyle Haight. I like the approach Futurama took with multiverses. There's only two, the main one and the one where everybody wears cowboy hats. Very simple. Futurama actually has some of the best takes on time travel as well, with the grandfather paradox, quite literally making himself his own grandfather, which is a great one.
I like how he's gay and he's looking up at the men, and Fry slowly lowers it down to the women because his granddad keeps trying to look at men.
But they not only did that become it was not just a gag, it actually ended up playing into other episodes where he was immune from the big brain aliens and all that stuff because he was missing the wavelength because of the inbred nature of his conception.
Yeah. You got, am I so smart? And you see him trying to eat a pineapple on a stick, and he's going, ah.
But yeah, does anybody, I guess, have anything else to say about Terminator Zero, or do?
I think they're probably going to compound the errors on this season. I still think they're going to have those kind of weak philosophical questions, because that they'll just have it with the kid now instead of the dad.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it's going to get more into the time travel problems.
I can see that.
Generally, when you keep adding to your time travel narrative, it compounds the issues every time. So,
there'll be probably more timelines, and then another Skynet or fucking another AI. I think they'll fall apart what the original premise is.
Yeah, that can turn into a real bad feedback loop that just goes to infinity. From what you guys are describing, because I only saw the first 2 episodes, but I agree with Platoon's original assessment that he was very confused as to why this is being so praised. It sounds like it's a fun show. Sounds like it's a good show, fair show, or whatever your ranking system would be. I think that was the issue that we saw earlier. Like, I don't have any problem with Bagface liking Rings of Power, but in my comments, I'm like, I'm sure all of you are getting well, it's not as bad as you're making it out. Well, okay, that's not the point, right? And this appeal to mediocrity, Despot was talking about in our stream last week, is gross. That this show appears to be okay, like it's just not shit. And so you see people that are like, this is amazing. And it sounds like it's not amazing. It just sounds like it's all right. But the lack of any other entertainment makes it seem better. And that's sad for entertainment in general.
Yeah, it benefits immensely from the fact that the most recent Terminator thing has been Dark Fate, and it's not that shit. So by comparison, people say, oh, it must be really, really good. And actually, we're seeing it in a number of different mediums. Same thing with like Alien Romulus. People think, well, it's not as obviously dumb as Covenant was, so it must be amazing. And that's not how it works. Just giving people familiar things rather than hating them is not itself going to give you a good show. I do, again, want to stress that there are some genuinely interesting concepts in Zero. It's just that there are not enough of them. The story doesn't really revolve enough around them yet. And it does undo a lot of the good stuff it does, but by being very silly. It even undoes it in some fairly minor ways, like the alternate Skynet is protected itself with a giant EMP thing, which will defeat all robotics if they get too close to it. Yet its defense strategy against Skynet nuking Japan is blowing up nukes in orbit, which of course will achieve the same thing because it's just a massive EMP field. Like there are small little technical things. The Gatling gun thing really pissed me off at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think that is just an anime thing because we've seen it in so much media now. Fallout's the one that really comes to mind, where this old man just toddles away from a huge Gatling turret and he doesn't die. It's just unnecessary. I don't think anime is an excuse for that. There are some really good animes that don't rely on that sort of shitty contrivance, even stylistically. Yeah, it's just, it looks so good by comparison. People are, I think, maybe overpraising it, and that's what's going on.
Yeah, appealing to South Park, I think that James Cameron has lowered the bar so far with the Terminator series that anything that comes after it is just, it looks fantastic by comparison, even if it is mediocre.
Well, I guess we're all pretty much in agreement here that it wasn't horrible, but it could have done so much better.
Where's Bagface?
Yeah, where's Bagface? Bagface would have loved it. He would have been like, "This is the greatest thing that ever came out."
Sucks.
Yeah, he would say.
Yeah, actually, he probably the way that he was like that. He was probably like, "I don't even like Terminator at all." It was like, I can't do his voice.
It would have been better without the Terminator, dude said.
It would have been better without the Terminator. Just Kyle Reese just goes back, and it's just that one scene over and over again. But so yeah, the only other thing I had something here for Amandla Stenberg, if you guys wanted to touch on that. Other than that, I have a couple of predictions. Like one's to talk about the Sonic 3 trailer.
Yeah, we could probably run through those. Because I'm excited about Sonic, so I do just want to touch on it. This is I am unapologetically, unabashedly Sonic the Hedgehog fan, and I have been since his inception on June 23rd, 1991.
I can't believe that based on your choice of hairstyle.
Right? Yeah. I think I said in one of my videos, I've always been represented because Sonic the Hedgehog exists. So. But the third movie, if you are interested in those, they're not the best movies ever made by any stretch. They're not the best kids movies ever made by any stretch. But if you're a Sonic fan and, Bagface level, it's just fun. It's just fun.
I thoroughly enjoyed the first and second one. And I even, except for the one really terrible musical episode, even enjoyed the Knuckles show. And there was one episode that almost ruined everything for it, though.
But yeah, I'm super excited for Sonic 3, and Keanu Reeves is he seems like he's going to kill it as Shadow because he was like born to play Shadow the Hedgehog, the emo hedgehog.
Yeah.
So,
they are skipping slightly. So I mean, like Sonic's like storyline lore is not particularly huge early on. Shadow, it comes in later when they started building the narrative more, and the games became a little bit more storyline driven, not so much like with the originals. But they did skip some pretty cool villains. I wish they I would have loved to have seen Metal Sonic on screen.
That is disappointing that they didn't showcase Metal Sonic. I remember at the end of the second movie, that's who I thought they might be showing was Metal Sonic, and then it was revealed it was Shadow.
There is a possibility they could flip flop it because Metal Sonic could. So I'm not sure if any of you ever read the comics, but there is an arc where Metal Sonic becomes like I don't remember the exact term, but he basically becomes like mega super Metal Sonic, and they could still do that arc. But yeah, it does. I mean, I watched the trailer briefly before this, and I thought it looked pretty damn good, consistent.
Yeah, these just seem to be getting better as they go along. This one, even the trailer hit with some of the humor and stuff, because the banter between Knuckles and Sonic and Tails is pretty great. Again, I know a lot of people probably aren't super amped for this. If we were to sit down and objectively look at these movies, they're ass, but they're not at the same time.
I don't think they're ass. I think I think that they're fine. I think that they are what they're supposed to be, and they didn't try to go too. They listened to the fans, which was something you don't really see a lot.
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking. And it's not a case of just giving people, well, we don't hate you type of thing. It's more like, no, we love you guys. We listen to you, and we changed that fucking horror show of a Sonic the Hedgehog design, and they reaped the benefits of that because people actually showed up. So.
I would say that they both films did a really good job of balancing the the references and the nostalgia, but not having that become everything. They still had this. It was a basic story, but the story still kept you interested. It wasn't just to get from point A to point B in terms of nostalgia bait. And like I think that says a lot about something that is based on a property that isn't known for its extremely strong narrative to begin with.
The funny thing is, if Ken Penders is a writer for comic books, and he's also kind of a piece of shit. He wrote incredible lore, to be honest, for Sonic the Hedgehog over a span of like 20 years in the comic books. It was deep lore. That would have been incredible to actually adapt to the screen, but it'll never happen. He decided to take Sega to court, and particularly Archie Comics, and he wanted all the rights to all these characters he created, which are just absolutely fucking derivative of Sonic and Knuckles. Like he now owns the rights to Knuckles' father, who's just Knuckles with a fucking white beard. But he owns part of the rights to it now. So Sega's just said, fuck you. We don't want anything to do with any of this now. They canceled the book, and now we're kind of stuck with the game lore. Which it's not deep, and it does translate well over to it's a children's movie or whatever. The Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, for all it was worth, it didn't really seem like a kid's comic book by the end. It kind of developed with its audience, and it was pretty adult by the end. I would like to see that, but it'll never happen. But there was once upon a time, if anyone wants to go look, very intense Sonic the Hedgehog lore. Archie Comics.
Wow, that is not something
how intense?
Sonic
murdered someone.
Sonic murdered someone, and I'm pretty sure there's a storyline where he was like framed for grape, like it's like wildly intense.
Because that kid is not mine. It's not even blue.
It's not fucking blue.
The more recent bastard. Yeah, the more recent comics are a little bit more kid oriented. The ones that IDW did, and they're not terrible, but they're not nearly as intense as the older ones were. They're still fun. They're not. I wouldn't call them adult, but they do have like a zombie robot metal virus that goes around the world, which is a pretty cool arc. And they have
everyone's roboticized.
And like Sonic has to like maintain it. It's very much like I have to maintain my speed, or else it's going to take. It's the speed principle. It's like, I can't run under 60 miles per hour, or else I'll turn into a robot. It's like, but yeah, I don't know. Besides me and Cynic, who have pretty much dominated this topic, what is everyone else's thoughts?
Well, I was going to say, I haven't seen the first two films, and I think I only played a Sonic game once when I was 7. I thought it was fun, but I don't know too much about the lore of the film series. Are the first two films, worth watching?
I watch them.
I honestly think if anyone were to sit down, they'd just have some fun. It really is. The Sonic characters, pretty endearing. And
surprisingly,
they
the
try and
second
capture
one got
that.
better than the first one too. Like the introduction of Knuckles and Idris Elba, like playing him was fantastic. He did a great job as the character.
Yeah, Idris Elba as Knuckles, he kind of reminds me a little bit of like Guardians of the Galaxy there.
Yeah, he definitely was channeling a bit of Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah, a little Drax there. Yeah,
It's not quite as bad, but
do you think Eggman will be the villain again? Because he can't do it in 3 films.
Well, so Shadow's going to be the villain, and in the trailer they show that Sonic and friends team up with Robotnik, but I'm sure he's going to, turn on them eventually.
He'll turn on them.
Which is not 100% out of the norm. They have partnered up multiple times.
Alliances have been made.
Yeah. Robotnik wants to be the one who they
finally
slowly come more and more like
and he's got the full mustache now.
Yes, finally.
That's been a fun little advancement to his look.
So that's coming out the end of December, 3rd of December
20th.
Along with Mufasa. Do you think that it's going to beat Mufasa, or is Mufasa taking that? Like which of those? Because those are both I would call family movies. That's not a big I'm looking at Baby Girl, Homestead, and the 6888. Or the other, that's on Netflix.
I think Sonic has a lot of goodwill built in over these last 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So how well received was the Lion King remake? Because that's essentially what it's coming off the back.
It wasn't really well received, and part of it was because kids found the lions to be creepy. So you don't get the facial expressions of a cartoon through CG, and you can find these all over. People have done comparisons of scenes and stuff, but probably the most famous one is the when the stampede happens in Lion King, and in the actual cartoon. He turns and his face is very much like in shock, like he's scared, and then Simba in the remake turns and it's just a deadpan lion face, and it's just really uncanny valley, and it turned a lot of kids off to the film.
Didn't it still make almost $2 billion?
Yeah, it made a shitload of money.
Yes, but they had to have seen it for that to happen.
Yeah,
and so a lot of kids came out of it not liking it because of that. And I wouldn't be shocked if that negatively affects a sequel. Like that was a lot of reports that parents were saying their kids were like weirded out by it.
I am nobody talks about it anymore, so it's one of those things like makes a bunch of money and then nobody cares again, which I hate because it just makes the studios want to do that kind of shit again, because I've not heard of that movie since it came out. But what I'm nervous about with Mufasa is they haven't given away too much in the trailer, but they've made it seem like Scar was the original kid and then they adopted Mufasa. So they're going to have to find a way to bridge how Mufasa becomes king and Scar is the jealous brother. So it feels like they're going to retcon Mufasa to be a dick that stole his brother's inheritance, or, like, that's what I'm worried about. Is they're going to...
That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to make Mufasa a piece of shit. He goes, I always wanted a brother. And Mufasa goes, yeah, and I always wanted a kingdom. And he fucking stabs Scar.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. He's going to slash his face with a little cutthroat razor. That's what it is. They're going to make Mufasa. There's no other way he becomes king without Scar being fucked over.
It's the deconstruction of everything. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to be something along those lines.
If they do that, I can see it doing badly. But if they don't do that, if they don't completely shit the bed, I would still expect this to make quite a lot of money and probably beat Sonic. Just because
he won't betray him in this film. It'll be like they'll set something up with Scar does something at the very end, because they'll probably want to make Mufasa into like a trilogy.
Oh God.
So Greg, is your question which one does overall more in the theater, or which one does better relative to budget and all that stuff? Like I know it's kind of we do it the one way, but your general consumer does it the other way.
Usually. I hadn't thought of it. I guess I was just thinking general overall.
Well, I think Mufasa is going to win the general overall. I think.
You think they're going to win that weekend?
Well, do they come out the exact same weekend? That's the question.
Yeah, they come out the
Yes,
exact
they
same
do.
weekend.
They come out
And
the
they
same
both,
day. Yeah.
the thing is, they've got stiff competition because the week before there's Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, and also Kraven the Hunter. So I don't even know if either of those is going to win against that big release schedule right there. But if they do manage to top either of those amazing, highly anticipated movies, I don't know. I think you guys were saying like Sonic has more goodwill. Disney live actions at this point are just not. They're not loved like I don't think they were ever loved, but they're not novel anymore. They're not cool. They're not even interesting.
I think
And
they do have a larger built-in audience, even than Sonic does. I mean, Sonic
true.
is not Super Mario in terms of size and scale and passion of the fan base. Also, looking like the demographics of the people who will be taking kids to see these movies, there's going to be a lot of mothers who will fondly remember The Lion King and think, "Yeah, I'll take the kids to see that." I don't imagine there'll be quite as many fathers who will say, "Yeah, I remember playing the Sonic games. I'll take the kids to see that." I imagine it will do well. I
So,
just don't see it dethroning The Lion King for its.
let me see what Sonic 1 versus Sonic 2 did in theaters, and then we can kind of make.
Well, the first one was skewed massively by the pandemic. It made about like 160 million, and then
Okay, well, yeah, if it was skewed,
it just got
I forgot about.
annihilated. So
I think the second one made $500 million or around that, maybe slightly less.
So then this is probably going to be a pretty close race then, if you're just talking total numbers, because the first there was really no drop off from Sonic 1 to Sonic 2 in terms of quality, and people came out of that generally feeling really well about the next one because it did do a good setup for the next one. Whereas Mufasa feels like it's out of nowhere. So I haven't, I don't hear anybody talking about it at all except for within our sphere getting ready to make fun of it.
I think it'll depend on a huge amount. It sounds incredibly shallow and superficial, but like, how are they marketing this on posters? Are they calling it massive letters The Lion King, smaller letters Mufasa, or are they just calling it Mufasa? Because I think that would genuinely make hundreds of billions of difference.
So
no, I think you're absolutely right. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's Mufasa the Lion King, so they're probably keeping the letter the Lion King very prominent in the advertising.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, though. There has been a downward trend with almost all live action remakes because it's not really a live action. And I could imagine that it's probably going to continue with this, mostly because it's not so far withdrawn from the Lion King remake that people aren't going to. I don't think like your general audience is going to fall for it and be like, "Oh, they're remaking it again." Like, I don't think a lot of people are going to do that, and you're not going to get the idiot dollars, so to say, from people not realizing what they're going to as much. I don't know. This is a rough one. I would say that that Mufasa beats it out in the box office just barely, but I think for that first weekend. But I think Sonic 3 might make more money in the overall if it's as good as I think it can be.
That might be a good call, man. Yeah, it might be. It's going to depend on the quality of Mufasa because I guarantee, like the Sonic movie, the Sonic fan base is so rabid. And as long as it's even remotely on the same level of the last two, it's going to do better numbers than the last two.
Yeah,
I could see it beating Kraven the Hunter. Every time someone mentions that film, I suddenly think, "Oh shit, yeah, that's coming out," and then I forget about it in about 10 seconds.
Well, that's going to solidify more of the Sony Spider-Man universe that doesn't have Spider-Man in it. So I'm looking forward to getting that lore fleshed out more. I think the Mufasa Sonic thing is going to just really depend on how Mufasa gets treated. Because if they are doing the deconstructed hero, sympathetic villain bullshit that every other goddamn property is doing now, it's like all anybody can do. If that's the case, that will spread quickly, and people will say, "Okay, I don't want." And after the first weekend, it'll fall off if that's what they do. And I don't really see how they're going to do it. I don't really see how they do a prequel where Scar, we know he's the actual son, and now he's not. I'm very curious to see how they're going to do it. I'm not curious to go see it, but I'm not. That weekend, I'm taking my kids to see Sonic. I can tell you that. We're doing the 6-kid review of Sonic, not Mufasa.
I mean, from the trailer, they also... Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say the budget that I was able to find, but go ahead.
From the trailer, they learn a circle of life from Scar's mother. So it's a woman teaching him. So it's going to fall for all the tropes we've seen before.
Yeah, that's what I'm nervous about, is that they're going to be real ham-fisted with it, and that's going to turn parents off real fast, and that word of mouth is going to go around quick.
So it seems like, I mean, none of these are official stats because it's just coming from like Reddit, but it seems like the Sonic 3 budget is anywhere from 100 to 120 million. That's obviously prior to the marketing. And then the Mufasa one is 250 million, possibly upwards of 300. So it just in terms of now I trust those numbers a little bit more on the Mufasa one because the Sonic one seems to be a little bit more all over the place. But the just on those numbers alone, I find it hard to believe that Mufasa is going to even turn a profit.
What is happening at Disney that they cannot, like the last 2 years, I think they haven't made a production that's less than $200 million. Where is this money going?
I'm convinced it's just a huge money laundering scam, and because it's definitely not translating into quality on the screen. So I keep thinking that there has to be some sort of, they're back channeling it, and those numbers are not truly accurate.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I don't.
When you're spending like close to $500 million to make $1 billion, you're not breaking even when you include marketing costs and the amount of money that production companies get from the theater. So yeah, I have no idea what's going on there.
No. Well, and then the other thing, I was talking to my wife about some of these topics, and I think the other issue is some of this stuff just doesn't seem theater worthy, and I think that's going to bite Disney too. There were certain things that I feel like were big. They were very, very theater. Like when Dune came out this year, I knew I'm going to see that in the theaters. Like there is no way that I am not going to see that in theater. And then both Sonic and Mufasa, a lot of movies that are coming out now. It just, a lot of them, I kind of feel like, I know you want to talk about Beetlejuice. That was the one. That to me doesn't feel like I need to go see that. That feels like I can wait and rent that, and I'll be.
Yeah, I was going to have everybody kind of make our predictions on that. I wasn't really going to say have us say anything big about that. I just wanted to do like a prediction round table on that. But yeah, there's definitely a feeling that a lot of these movies are just not. I almost feel like we're in that dumping ground of films that 2024 has just been a dumping ground for films people didn't want to see for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at I pulled up a chart for December to see, because I couldn't remember what was going against Sonic, and I'm looking at the rest of it, and I've never heard of most of these movies. Y2K horror movie. Most of these don't even have posters attached to them. Lord of the Rings, Craven are the only ones I've even heard of before. Sonic and Mufasa, and then Nosferatu. I think that's gonna be a big one, or compared to its budget. But most of this are cheap horror movies. There's really nothing coming out on Christmas. That should be a big movie season, and it's absolutely not this year. It's crazy.
Isn't Nosferatu?
Yeah,
That's
he
coming out on
mentioned
Christmas.
Yeah, that one's coming out. Yeah. That one's coming out on Christmas or Christmas Eve.
What a weird Christmas film.
Yeah, that is feels strange.
Hyper stylized old horror Nosferatu.
Yeah. But like Beetlejuice, I don't see that one going well because it just doesn't feel like I need to go to the theater to see that. And also, why the fuck are we releasing a Beetlejuice movie in the beginning of September?
Yes, that was actually something I said. It's going to be terrible because of that.
I think they do that sometimes. I think they did the fucking Halloween movie, the 2018 one, if I'm correct.
Haunted Mansion. Disney did that.
Yeah, well, it's because if you do release a horror themed movie in October, like you are kind of doomed after Halloween's over. So, but the anticipation for Halloween, the build up to Halloween, does kind of start in September. So they're actually trying to make as much money as possible by doing that.
So what does everybody think it's going to do? That's really all I had for that topic. Was I just like box office predictions for Beetlejuice.
I have no.
It's a hard one, and you're usually like super solid on it.
I know. I haven't given Beetlejuice much thought, but I think that there's actually some anticipation about it. So I think it's going to clear, $100 million domestic. I bet. But as far as
I would
what
say
the heights are, I don't know.
Let's see. I would say you're probably looking into like the high 200 million worldwide. Probably around that range.
Yeah, probably like Alien Romulus numbers, if not better, because I think the nostalgia factor Like honestly, the Alien movies never really made a lot of money in the fucking first place.
No.
And this I use the 2018 Halloween movie as a good barometer for how these kind of nostalgia bait. They're like remakes, but not sequels, but not. They're riding on nostalgia. That movie just blew the fucking doors off the box office compared to any other movie in that franchise, and it was riding off the nostalgia of the original movie. So this has the potential to do that. I can't imagine.
I wouldn't be shocked if the opening weekend for Beetlejuice is like 100 million. And then,
I don't know about that. Probably.
I mean, that's worldwide. I mean,
oh, gotcha. Okay.
Not domestic. I would say domestic probably around like 50, 60. But the I think it'll have like a good 2-week run. I think that's about what it has in it strength wise.
Get that other, like if it's a good movie, if the word of mouth is good anyway, regardless if it's actually good.
Yeah, somewhere between 200 300 million though, I would say would be the total amount that it's going to make globally.
It has some draw. Like there are a lot of people that are into Jenna Ortega, so there's a draw there. You've always got the nostalgia factor. You know,
he creeps you like her.
There's a big audience of, you know, girls that passively think witchcraft is cool and they like Night Before Christmas, and you know,
they're mentally ill.
So
go on, Reaper.
Let's call them what they really are, right?
I just want Reaper. I want you on every single stream there's ever been. That's
cut through the bullshit. That's what these people are: pedophiles and fucking mentally ill girls. That's what they want in the theater.
I think the film is predicted to make 100 million domestically. I don't think it's going to clear 80, and if it makes another 55 million,
I said
60
about
for
60.
you.
I said about 60. Yeah,
I think it will probably make between 70 to 80 million domestic, and maybe 55 in international markets. And yeah, as Cynic was saying, depending on word of mouth, it has the potential to hit 400 million total worldwide by the end of its release.
Yeah, if the Uncharted movie can hit 400 million worldwide, what the fuck is Beetlejuice doing? It's got at least that. I don't know.
I said I think it could hit probably worldwide about the high 200s. Like that's probably.
Well, some of the reviews are out. On 40 reviews, Rotten Tomatoes, it's 78%.
Oh. You know, those weird kind of scores sometimes lead to high audience scores. I'm way more interested always in the cinema score. That's the best barometer for how audiences are feeling about it after the opening weekend. Because they're actually people that went and saw the movie and they're asked immediately, as you know. So the Rotten Tomatoes is a fucking cesspool of bullshit. So never trust a thing on there.
Yeah, it's all over the place. They're either hiding scores or they're promoting stuff.
It's ridiculous.
It gets yanked around so much.
Yeah, I had slides for it, but because of the way it worked. But I had for Rings of Power how as soon as you click top critics versus it drops by like
significant
16% or something like that.
Yeah.
But I guess yeah. So I guess we'll do the last of the super chats because we got quite a few of them. So
yes, sir.
Let's go through from the top. Some of them might be Rings of Power again that I missed, but Lord Outswift Flowers for 1999 American. Sorry, my brain's not working right now. No one I watched has said I'd this, but blobs. Okay, someone read that because I think I'm having a stroke.
Blob Salon looks like the cursed sludge in Princess Mononoke. Is this referring to the Sauron leechmonger monster that happens?
Yes, I believe so. I didn't see rings. I didn't see the words like Rings of Power in it before, so I didn't highlight it when I was. But yeah, this but blob. Okay, so thank you for your super chat and my inability to read. Ian so forth gifted 10 little platoon memberships.
Thank you very much.
Here's one from Larry for you, Cynic.
Whoa. Larry for $5. Charlie Hopkinson already has his first Gandalf reaction out. Random Phil Talk was the first of the Long Boys to post his. I recommend them both. And thank you very much for mentioning that, Larry. And my video is about to go live right this very fucking second. Fuck it. I just want it to go live.
Just drop
So
it.
now mine's dropped too, right?
You
Now,
could have set it to Premiere, and we could have linked the stream into it. So it
I
would have
don't
gone
care about
straight into
premieres.
it.
You do. I make short videos. By the time everyone gets to it, it's already over, and they're like, "Eh, fuck
Yeah,
it, I don't want to watch
that
it
is
now."
true. The premieres don't really
Yeah.
work very well for anything under like an hour.
They don't. Yeah, they're just
No.
not worth it.
No, I did premiere like once, and it was the only time it ever worked well was for a video that was about 20 minutes long, and that barely worked because it's by the time people are, like you said, by the time people are getting into it, it's already halfway done, so they just leave.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just it's kind of pointless.
I tried my
for-
very first one with that Acolyte one that was 2.5 hours long, and it took, I think it was at an hour that it peaked out, and that's where it kind of hovered. So
Yeah,
you gotta
so-
have time.
For you,
Yeah.
Platoon, brilliant idea. For me, waste time.
TGV Monster for $2 did not see me on the guest list, so he said hi. Thank you for
Well,
saying
that's when
hi.
he missed you out of super chat, which I told him not to send one. I told him to exclude you, and he disobeyed me.
Here's a Cynic. Here's another from Larry, who's being very generous tonight.
Yes, he's always generous. He's a good man, that Larry. Larry, for $2 more. New lightsaber color, Viagra blue. I approve of the color selection.
That's what
I'd buy that for
needs.
$1.
Her lightsaber was very flaccid.
I'd buy that for $1.
Here's a question for you, Cynic.
Cynic, what do you think of Sonic X? I didn't like it. It's too. It's actually closer to the movies, but cinematic. It really translates. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Sonic X, but I'm probably a little biased because of the fact that I was a huge Archie fan. So I was like the Saturday morning cartoon fan, which is where some of that lore came from in the 90s. Like
what were the
Princess
characters?
Sally,
The two
Princess
characters?
Sally Acorn, Rotor or Boomer, the Walrus. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't end up getting into hentai, I guess.
The Saturday morning cartoon Sonic was fantastic. It does not. It's hard to watch now, though. It's very rough to watch.
Yeah,
now.
it's a tough one.
It has not aged well.
No, sir.
For Greg here,
I do. Greg Owen has a cool name, Owen.
He does.
I mean, it's the truth. No lies were told.
Thank you for your super chat, Gregory Lieber. Let's see. We have here's one for Films Comics Explained.
Moss Merum for $5. Is that Niat from Film Comics Explained? Love your work, man, and welcome to the EFAP verse. Also, Platoon is a degenerate but makes great videos.
True.
I didn't actually. I didn't read all the way through that one. Let's see. Is there any ones that are any more that are specific to people? No. We have Sophie Elizabeth Jackson Lee is a new member. I'm wondering if that was one of the gifted memberships or not. Either way, thank you for being a member.
Welcome.
And Hail Panel from Paul Connolly, €5. Hail Panel. Has anyone on the panel seen Uwe Boll's In the Name of the King? And if so, how does the dialogue in Rings of Power compare? I did not even know that was a thing. So
I didn't either.
Last thing I saw from Uwe Boll was I think a Doom movie. That's pretty much it.
I'm just glad that his name is back in the news ever since Borderlands came out. He's like, it's my time again.
Should get him to direct an episode.
Yeah. Has anybody seen this In the Name of the King?
No, I've heard of it, but I've
No.
not seen it.
No.
I've only seen Blood Rain and Alone in the Dark, and they were both pretty awful.
They were pretty rough.
Sorry, Paul. We can't answer that question as well as we would like. Lord Alt Swift Flowers again for $4.99. My belief is that the not Hobbit will mispronounce something, and that's where Gandalf will get his name, and that's the level of stupidity that these writers have.
Yeah, someone I think on Open Bar suggested that. Like they'll come up across a creature like that they call like a Gand beaver or something, and then Gandalf will be like, Gand, Alf. Oh, that's my name. Yeah, that's believable.
My heart just started glowing.
Pseudo related for Mega Spidey Man for €2. Have you guys seen the animated Lord of the Rings or Hobbits? And your thoughts? I saw the animated Hobbit when I was in like high school, I think, and it was pretty good. It was solid. Like, it was for like an animated short that was made of a book. Had decent animation. I didn't see the Lord of the Rings one though.
I never have actually. No, I mean I've seen large bits and pieces of it because it's helpful to escape copyright when you're doing Rings of Power videos. So I've used footage, but I've actually never seen it all the way through.
Anybody else have seen any of it?
I saw it as a kid. I quite liked it. I'm assuming it's more faithful to Tolkien's work than Rings of Power, so it's got that going for it.
No, the only animated fantasy style one that I ever saw was The Last Unicorn. And that's a classic that you want to check out right there.
Let's do this one. Professor R2. Hey there, Dark Hour. I didn't pay to say hi. I mean, you could just message me. We're friends, so you don't have to waste your. But J-Mac was like super generous today. He also gifted 50 little platoon memberships.
Very kind from J-Mac.
Yeah, I think he's trying to launder some money through Platoon's accounts. I think that's what's going on there. Is from Prosthetic Head for £2. Is the damage Hollywood has done irreversible?
Only to the actresses.
They still keep loads of them still keep getting work, so like they're not even that kind of damaged, sadly. I think it depends, like, damage to what is the question. Damage to themselves, probably. Damage to some of the people involved, debatable. I think it depends how the actors handle it. Damage to culture, almost certainly. That's an optimistic note.
But yeah, I think that with films, TV, all these things, it almost operates like it filters out eventually, and because it may see rise of some more independent projects or even foreign stuff coming in more. But I think as time goes on, you push out the people who have corrupted it, and if new people rise up that do a good job, it will reestablish the faith in the Hollywood blockbuster. So,
well, filmmaking is not fundamentally, but the end goal is to make money, and they can't keep hemorrhaging money without making a change. So yeah, I think in the near future we're going to see them switch things up.
Okay. From Taker 610 for $2. Trent Reznor for should have played Adar.
Yeah, he could have done it.
Or Danzig.
Yeah.
Get fucking metal in the Southlands.
Caprelli's Artware for €5. Sup BSUP. I like it. Sup BSUP. Please accept this $5 European super chat. Also, the OG RoboCop bag face. It's awesome with a winky face.
Yeah, it is one of the best movies ever made. So
I'd buy that for a European dollar.
Buy that for €1.
I think it's Paul Verhoeven's best film, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
How has he not watched it?
I gotta rewatch it.
Yeah, I almost feel like I should go watch it like right after the stream's over.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I need to cleanse that information out of my fucking head and go watch the movie. Luke W for $5. Thanks, Luke. Speaking of Lord of the Rings adaptations, are you aware that there's a Finnish Lord of the Rings miniseries where Boromir is portrayed as a samurai?
Finnish?
I don't fucking know.
Finnish.
I was trying to,
He was trying to put some.
Trying to put a spin on it. It didn't work.
I was not aware of the Finnish one, but I've seen bits of that 1990s Soviet Union one, which looks hilarious, and I actually want to watch the whole thing because they have like a budget of about $5 because they were completely broke as a country, and it looks very weird, very very weird, kind of trippy. I'm interested.
Well, the actors are going to be terrified because they've probably got people with guns behind the camera. So, don't be too harsh on a performance.
Well, yeah, they just have a bunch of clones of Alec Baldwin behind the camera. Just like you better deliver these lines correct.
Very hard to be happy when your family's duct taped.
Platoon, you want to take this one?
I can, from Spectre von Baron for $5. Whoever wrote Wicked and started this trend of turning pitch black evil characters into the real good guys needs to be banished from writing forever.
Yeah.
Well, that's coming out, isn't it? The Wicked film.
Yeah. That's supposed Part to one is coming out in I think November.
Part one.
I was going to say
Part one.
I believe that it's a 2-movie.
Yeah, it's a fairly long musical, so I'm not shocked it's 2 parts.
Yeah, I hear it has good music, but the overall.
So I saw Wicked
is...
in high school. That was my theater, like senior theater trip. We went to Broadway for Wicked, and it was, like it wasn't bad. I find that they're probably not going to be able to translate it very well. Most of the time, a lot of musicals don't capture.
Have you seen
that.
Who Plays the Wicked Witch?
Yeah,
son of a bitch. that she certainly suits the role, I guess.
And the final one from Common People for £5.
It's for me.
Okay, then you can take it.
I'll buy your flights to Ireland for our date. You can dress as the Crow. We can talk about men wrestling over a meal of potatoes dipped in Guinness.
Okay.
Fuck it. I guess I'm sold.
That's how you get somebody to go to Ireland. That's for
Fuck
sure.
it. Going on a gay date. Let's go.
But yeah, that's all of the supers. So
also, how do I get called degenerate when you're into that kind of thing? That's just completely wrong.
I just get to skip that criticism,
Well, I suppose it's like, well, we know what he's up to. If Little Batoon's all hidden, God knows what he's got in his closet. If he hangs around with him, what's he like?
That's true. That's true. The only person who's ever seen inside my closet is me, and that's the way it should stay. Only because everybody else in there is already dead. Me and all the voices. Yeah.
Me, my dead uncle, my dead father.
Is that all the super chats there?
Yes, that was all the super chats.
Okay.
I just got like I have the tendency to just kind of just get lost in what Reaper's saying because it's you never know what's coming up next. But yes, that was all the super chats.
Awesome.
So.
Well, I guess that concludes BSUP for this week. We will return with more fabulous guests again. But please, let's go through the list here and see where everyone's at. Dark Hour, actually, what are you up to? What are you going to do next?
I should be finalizing my first Rings of Power video. I'm a little bit behind because I was on vacation. So that should be coming out, I'm hoping Wednesday. So it comes out before the next set of episodes or the next episode. And 2 hoes this week. We're doing, I believe, Fight Club, which would be fun. Larry made us look. So I'm just going to show that right there for $5. He made us look.
Isn't that a female one?
No, that one hasn't come out yet.
Oh God.
And then then I'm going to be on here going forward, which we will be doing at 4 p.m. going forward to sync it up with the time that Open Bar and Friday Night Tights are. So to keep it consistent.
It seems to be the good time.
Yeah,
it seems to be the better time for everyone.
So this was the series finale of BSUP version 1, and BSUP version 2 starts next week.
That's right. It only took over a year and a half.
Turning off my channel and learning where I'm supposed to be and when on the stream at the end. Okay, fair enough. I will forget this, by the way. You're going to have to remind me.
Don't worry.
What Dark Hour is for.
There is a thorough schedule, and everybody on this panel has seen how thorough my scheduling capabilities can be.
It's autistic level, so it's fantastic. It's fucking on point. And Reaper, yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on. You're fucking hilarious, dude, and I absolutely love your videos. So where are you going to be next, sir?
I also have a Rings of Power video that it's taking me forever. A lot of swearing, a lot of skull comparisons, basic stuff. I've also got a boys review, which is like an hour long, which I still haven't done. So we'll see which comes first.
Fair enough. I'm looking forward to both. And Greg, thank you for coming back again, second week in a row, sir. We always enjoy your company and really appreciate you coming on. What are you up to next?
Tomorrow night, I will be over with Echo Chamberlain for the Echo Chamber for our every other Tuesday show. Myself, Echo Chamberlain, Despot of Antrim, and whatever guest that we have lined up. I'm not even sure who it is. And then
might be me this week. Sometimes I get asked like 15 minutes beforehand. So.
Echo's got good. I don't even have an email from Echo yet as to what we're talking about tomorrow, so that's really exciting.
Perfect. Sounds like BSUP.
But my Rings of Power video is already out because you guys care too much about being accurate, and I was just making jokes. I was taking the piss, as the Islanders like to say. So that's already out, and I think I have another one
Well, I
this
make
Friday.
jokes. It's just a bit more racial.
The minor about
I'm joking, but not really.
Mine are about romantasy books, Sarah J. Maas references, and the deep Hitchhiker's Guide text game cuts that I can try to fit in there.
Ooh,
and Bosch.
good one.
That's so that's out, and I'll be on the Echo Chamber tomorrow. Come hang out with us in about 23 hours.
Aurora uplinks for $2. Don't forget to pet your cats and show them love. I'm guessing that they mean the animal and not what
I would think.
Yeah. You never know. You never know with our chat.
My baby's around here.
But, oh yeah, mine are in Nashville, and
I have 2 cats, but I don't let them in here.
I have a guy that watches, like he goes in, cleans the cat box or whatever, and feeds them their food, and he's blind. I just want to point that out.
Wait, so that's really way worse because that means his sense of smell is heightened, and you have him cleaning the cat box.
I mean, he gets paid $20 per stop in. That's his rate. So he better clean the fucking cat box. Yeah.
M8566. You do not know how long Echo Chamberlain fought against calling it the Echo Chamber. It was like he dug his feet into the ground and was like, "I will not be that derivative. Damn it."
Yes, Big Ship, the cat watcher is blind. Yes, sir. So moving on. Nat, thank you so much for coming on, man. Phil Comics Explained. Where will you be next? I saw you just released a Crow video, if I'm correct.
I did, yeah. So I've got 7 days before I leave, so I'm gonna try and work on a Terminator 0 video and one for Beetlejuice 2. Also going to be on Echo Chamberlains tomorrow, followed by Diabolical Souls, talking Invincible. After that, I'm on Diabolical Souls again, talking Terminator 0. This weekend on Friday, I'm also going to be on Angry Badger. And I've also been invited to another podcast that I'm not sure I have time for, but we'll see how we go.
You're doing that thing that we all do up front, where you're like, everybody wants me on, so I'm just going to go on everything.
And Little Platoon, the owner of the channel. What are you up to?
What am I up to? Straight back to Rings of Power, inevitably.
There you go.
So that'll take. I really want like the full season 1 thing to be out. It will not be this weekend, but next weekend would be good, so I can actually get on to season 2. But like for a sense of size, like it's coming up on 70,000 words, and some of the mini essays aren't done, and I'm only about 10 minutes into episode 7. So
Jeez.
like it's gonna be fucking long. But then I get to talk about more Rings of Power on season 2 when I finally get around to that. And I also get to talk about more Rings of Power because I'm going to be on EFAP for all of those. So it's, I think, are we kicking off this Saturday? I think we are. It might be next Saturday. I can't remember. One of the Saturdays we'll be doing an EFAP on Rings of Power. So plenty of that coming up.
Holy moly. That's all I gotta say. Because that's going to be a lot of Rings of Power talk. Goddamn.
Way too much Rings of Power.
Another super chat coming in at the end? No way.
If you want to take it, Cynic.
Hepatitis rising? How do I say that?
Hephaestus.
For a California $5, the score of Rings of Power is done by Bear McCreary. Of course, it's good. I listened to the the whatever the fuck of season 1 and enjoyed it. I don't remember it while watching the show. Oh, the soundtrack. Yes, sir. That's correct. But he doesn't remember it while watching the show. Well, thanks for the California $5 though. Hepatitis. I appreciate it. And I just released the Rings of Power video like fucking 20 minutes ago. So I hope everyone after the stream goes over and checks that out and doesn't bury me in the algorithm. I'd really appreciate it.
You should be spamming the links. Put the link in the chat. You should be doing that. That's a thing.
I rely way too much on YouTube just to take care of me. You're probably right.
There's no dislikes. I can click dislike and it'll be the first one.
Oh, you bastard. But yeah, that's what we're up to.
I did it. I was the first dislike.
Oh, fuck you. I want to be the first dislike.
You fucker.
Let's all dislike it. Everyone
just show up and mass dislike the video and just
I'm going to say in the comments, this guy sucks.
Ruin his work.
Yeah, I'll put the
There's
link
no,
in.
there's
the
no such
comments.
thing as bad engagement, by the way, out there. And all of even if you say this guy sucks, it's actually a good thing for the video.
The call has gone out and been answered. Apparently, there are
guy
already 14 now.
sucks.
Fucking
I
Jesus.
wrote that. This guy sucks and a dislike. Let's see.
Oh God.
Oh wait, you did that too. So there's literally going to be
That's
two
all
back-to-back comments to say this guy sucks. Everybody go and say this guy sucks.
This will be my first fucking video to absolutely shit itself just for a gag.
It's not going to. No, that's a shit.
All
ton
the
of
work. Bagface honestly fucking killed it with this video. He made this video so much
fantastic
better.
engagement. If you have 150, 200 people show up at the same time and say that you suck, that'll be fantastic for you.
Oh, I don't care if you say I suck. Just show up and let the video play.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
I mean, I didn't close my phone.
Straight in, pause.
No.
Dislike it.
See, if you listen, look.
Yes, indeed. The bloated Amazon middle.
There you go. See, I'm
that's my voice indeed. Yes, sir. Everyone in Britain calls me AI. That's right. But
Well, people call me a shit AI. I was like, what AI would have this accent? You can't understand half of what I say.
I do a killer Reaper impression too. It's shit. It's absolute fucking shit. I hate this fucking show. Rings of Power's ass.
Pretty much, yeah. That's 90% of my script.
I love it.
Hey, if it works, it works. Don't
Hey,
fucking,
could you
it works.
not be rude? Right after Cynic said he was going to do an impression, Reaper just started talking. Cynic, what's your impression?
Oh God, we are having too much fun on the show. I'm gonna have to close it.
Yeah, I think we should end it. We're
yeah. No, thank you so much for everyone who stuck around. I do appreciate it. If you go watch the video, if you're not interested, fuck it, whatever. But no, thanks for everyone in the chat.
You got
Thanks
Stephen A. Smith in this thing?
That's all Bagface. I'm telling you, he made this video so much more. So if anyone wants to see the bright side of Bagface, and go check out the video that way then. But no, thank you so much to everyone in the chat, and thank you everyone who sent in super chats. You guys absolutely fucking roll. And we will be back next week at 4 p.m. and that will be the new standard time. And hopefully Platoon can show up because we didn't even check with him. So
it's 9 p.m. in real time. I think I can do it. I think I can.
Actually,
yeah, I'm pretty
we figured
sure
that would be better for you. But
we actually thought it would be better, but we didn't know. We said fuck it, fuck checking in on him. Just do it.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Good. Well, we'll see you there when you'll see the timestamp when the pre-show goes live. So find out next week. But yeah, it should be 4 p.m. Anyway, that is it for this week. Thanks again, guys, and we will catch you all later. Bye.
Bye.